What should I say, Tits? I don't want to say it. I don't want to say it.
The typical intro.
Yeah. What should I say? I didn't think of it.
You didn't think of anything? Oh, yeah, I'm sure it'll come to you. Just go with the flow.
Rucka Rucka. Hey, man.
Yo, what's up?
Hey.
Oh, fuck, you're on camera. Fuck, look at that. Jeez.
Yeah, shit, man. Well, aren't you? Aren't you?
Yeah, this is me. This is
Yeah, this is us.
good to have you, man.
Thanks. What an honor. The furry couple of YouTube. The commentary bears. I got nothing else. But this is very, very honorable.
The racist, sexist, misogynist, fucking
bullies.
I said rapist.
No.
It's up for debate, I would say.
Up for debate, yeah. Questionable.
Yeah. So I just watched your video this morning. Is it Robert's gay? Fucking Kirk is gay. That's a funny fucking
The
song.
Metallica one? Yeah. The gayest is the James.
Is it the gayest is James, or is it the gayest gay is James?
The gayest is James.
Yeah.
You do a pretty mean Hetfield, man. You do a fucking mean Hetfield.
Thanks. Yeah, I'm glad you like it. A lot of my audience are a little bit too young to appreciate that one, but I just do write what's funny to me, and I just move along.
Yeah. Tell me, do you get much in the way of like copyright hassles with that sort of stuff?
You mean for using like video footage of Metallica, or for like doing parodies of other people's songs, or do you not know?
Either or, because I mean, I would assume that because it sounds like you're using their music and you're cancelling out the vocals with the EQ trick, like with the phase trick.
Well, I'm glad it sounds like that. It's actually, I have a guy who interpolates, as they call it. He recreates the music with new instruments, so it's technically completely original recording. Really? Yeah. Yep.
Shit.
Now, in the old days, in the early days, when this was just kind of like a hobby, the parodies on YouTube were like my vocals over the official instrumental, which was much easier to find back then. Back then, you could just type in like Rihanna umbrella instrumental, and like 10 different, every 10 different websites would pop up with them. But anyway, now it's like much more of a professional enterprise. I've got a producer making these instrumentals before I'm even recording the parody, so it's way different now. Yeah, but I mean, if that Metallica one sounded like the real deal, I'm especially happy, because that's like that's like a solid, well-produced song.
That's mind blowing. It really does. I could have sworn it was the actual Metallica version.
Well, I usually hear the subtle differences, but obviously I live and breathe these songs until they're done.
Yeah,
for sure.
And so how long does it take to sorry, just before I fuck off the copyright issue, do you get any hassles with using footage and that sort of thing?
Not very often. There's actually one video, and this is a cry for help if anyone wants to help. There's a song I did called "Am I Gay?" and spoiler alert, yes. And I used a music video of a band called Fuel from like the early 2000s, and it's just automatically claimed every time. I've tried to shrink it, I've tried to change the color, I've tried everything, and it just keeps on getting automatically blocked around the world. And if anyone wants to help me find a way to just put it on YouTube, be in contact, and I'll give you the video and you can try some tricks, because it's a great song, and it goes really well with the video. So other than that, though, typically no, because typically I use all these like pictures from like Google Image and like short clips of other random shit on YouTube. So I don't use a lot of like, I don't really use movie clips. It always blows my mind when people like use like Star Wars fucking footage for their YouTube videos. I'm like, how is that not blocked immediately? But yeah, not so much of an issue for me.
Yet Fuel is a problem. Banned from the 90s.
Yeah, for some reason. Well, I think it's one of the few times I've just used someone else's literal music video from beginning to end and just put my music over it. And it's just automatically claimed and blocked. And I tried to like dispute it and say like, hey, it's commentary, blah, blah, blah. Just no, it didn't work. But that one time that literally somebody said, I'm in your video and I want it down, and got it taken down was for a video called "What the Black Says." And it was this video was blowing up big time. It was getting like, I just remember, I don't remember how fast it was blowing up. This was 2012 or 13. The farther back you go on YouTube, like the more you have to adjust for inflation, you know, like a million views in 2008, it would be like saying maybe 10 million today or something. Like you have to adjust it. But so this one, I just remember hitting refresh and just watching it climb by the thousands with each refresh. It was exciting.
Wow.
And then it got, and I kept thinking like, oh, this shit's gonna get deleted for, you know, hate speech, right? Because YouTube has been known to delete shit for hate speech. But this one wasn't, and I think that was when I noticed like YouTube was kind of changing, where they're looking to fuck you out of money rather than completely erase all evidence of your work. So they left it alone. But then it got, I get an email from one of the black guys in the video. The guy who's doing this, who's like, when it goes, "Are you late to pay your bills?" It was like a stock footage of some dude, and he like emails me. He goes, "Excuse me, do you have permission to use this picture? If you do, please show me evidence." And like now, like looking back, I wish I had just gone onto like Photoshop, not Photoshop, Shutter image, whatever the fuck, and just like rented the picture, you know, probably for like 50 bucks or 25 bucks.
Okay. Yeah.
Like, oh yeah, here you go, man. Yeah, cool. All right. But, and then he was tweeting at me too. He's he appears to be a male stripper, who may or may not be gay. And, yeah, like, and then like the video got deleted for copyright, and it was claimed by a lawyer who, had some affiliation with BuzzFeed. It was like a BuzzFeed lawyer. And this was before BuzzFeed. But here's the thing, this was before BuzzFeed was like the fucking Antichrist. Like this was back, like BuzzFeed had one of my Obama, my thrift shop Obama song was on a BuzzFeed top 10 list. It was like top 10 thrift shop parodies. Like BuzzFeed used to be kind of like, they were just about like top 10 lists. They were not about like, you know, exposing all the subtle problems in the world. So but even then, BuzzFeed was fucking me. Even back then, BuzzFeed was out to get me. So.
Since before it was cool.
Yeah, I'm telling you, man, BuzzFeed was YouTube fucked me before it was cool. Everything everyone talks about today was happening to me long before.
Yeah. I've just when you mentioned the band Fuel, I didn't know who you were fucking talking about. So I've typed in Fuel band into Google and then gone to images, and it's just this. It's like this Nike Fuel band thing. I don't know what it is.
Nike? What the hell are you looking at?
Like it looks really technical. It looks like an exercise sort of thing, like that you. It is. You put it on your wrist and it like tells you how many steps you take.
I'm sure you remember that song. It's called from the cold. Just now, I'll finish your table.
Yeah. So can I can show you. Oh well, I don't want your stream to get flagged for copyright, but I was gonna say I'll play the video. Like I can probably play it for your stream or whatever. But
like your version of it.
Yeah, I could play the song for anyway. Another time, I'll send you a link later. But it was you know the song. And I see you in my hands again. So I wrote. Now I'm thinking, am I gay? Am I gay? I guess. I have semen in my hands, in my ass. Yeah, it was.
And the 90s, those 90s songs is just a gold mine of parodies waiting to happen.
Yeah, and I've been doing a lot of them lately. I did Blink-182. I did Linkin Park.
Was that I guess this is blowing up?
Yeah. Oh, have you seen? It's okay. So hold on a sec. So we're done with the copyright thing, right? Let's move on to segment 2. Who are you guys, and how do you know me? Because it's always like weird to me when like anyone's heard of me that creates content. Like
I've admittedly only been watching your videos for a very short time because Tits was talking about you a few weeks ago, and so I checked you out and found you hilarious.
Oh, well, thank you.
Well, the first one I saw was the Metallica one, and then I just knew Bering would find this fucking hilarious. As he's got a mate who is like die-hard Metallica, like would have Metallica tattooed on his ass, like.
He would suck Lars's cock. He would fucking he'd cup his balls and suck his cock. and he's
Yeah.
not gay. He'd do it forever.
Yeah. Well, I think anyone with someone with a sense of humor who likes fucking Metallica, like, would love that song. Obviously, it's written by someone that fucking knows the band, not personally, but gets it. But yeah, no, that's cool. Okay, so you're relatively new to my world, and that's cool. I didn't know if it like Jeff Holiday told me he's been on board like since the beginning, like since 2006 possibly.
Oh wow.
You know, like Chris Ray Gunn told me he used to watch my shit in high school, which is like weird when like so much time has passed and now I'm like an OG, and it's like people that are like big on YouTube are like yeah.
Well, I only figured out what like a subscription on YouTube was in like 2015.
Same with me, honestly. Yeah, I'm really just, it's weird to me to even be watching shit on YouTube. I only really started watching shit about a year ago. I kind of got pulled into it with this guy named KSI. He reacted to What the Black Says, the aforementioned video, and he's got 15 million subs. So like kind of overnight, I was suddenly like in the middle of something, and I was like, I don't even know what YouTube is. I just post my own shit, and I watch HBO. I'm not into this shit.
Yeah. But, so when you say he reacted to you, you reacted positively, or you gave you shit?
He seemed a little bit shocked. I don't know. You can find it. It's out there. I was kind of thrown off. I didn't know what to make of it, and I made a video in response, being kind of a little bit defensive. Kind of looking back, I could have been a little bit cooler about it, and still kind of baited him a little bit without kind of being seemingly bothered. But anyway, you know, you always cringe at your own old videos. But yeah, then he dissed me, and then I dissed him. So that was kind of a big little. That was kind of a renaissance in my kind of paying attention to YouTube, because I never really I've never been watching anything. You know, I thought it was all fucking, you know, Fred. I thought it was all Niga Higa and like fun. Girly shit. Nothing against Niga Higa. Yeah. I knew like makeup tutorials are like girl shit, and I knew they were like what I call vloggers, which now I guess would be called commentary when you talk to the camera. Vlogging is now like, hey guys, I'm going to the store. You know, shit that didn't exist in 2008 because smartphones like couldn't fucking live stream yet or whatever. I don't know. Anyway.
No shit. They'll make videos just about their trip to Starbucks. And then back, and then that's the whole fucking video. Hey, look at me, I'm hot. I'm getting Starbucks.
And you've got to have just the right hip hop music to put over it. It's that same fucking hip hop music. Mark fucking, what is it? Mark C. Ferg says, punch Lars in the vag, right in the vag. I agree, Mark.
Yeah, amazing how the name Mark is pronounced the same in Australia and in New Jersey. Hey, Mark.
It is too, It is too.
So since I'm kind of new to watching shit on YouTube, like this whole like you know, anti-SJW or whatever the fuck, like did this shit exist 5 years ago or even 2 years ago? Like was there, like at the time of Occupy Wall Street, was there were there prominent voices on YouTube pointing out like hypocrisy and
2 years ago it did. 5 years ago I'm not sure. I was sort of wasn't into it at all 5 years ago.
Sort of melded more from the atheists.
It did, didn't it? It did.
Yeah,
so you had like Thunderfoot and those guys having arguments about atheism and all that, and then it turned into
Gamergate.
Yeah. So I mean, I've tried to like put the pieces together, being kind of so new as an audience member, and it seems like all roads lead back to Gamergate, which I'm still not entirely sure what it is, but I don't really need to know because I know enough. And I just I think let me just finish the thought. I think if like the Zimmerman trial was happening today, you know, Trayvon is George Zimmerman, like there's a good chance that a lot of these anti-SJW types would be like on Zimmerman's side, not necessarily, but I think so, because there was a lot that like the guy was basically convicted over Twitter before anyone knew any of the facts. And I think like the type of people that are today kind of calling out bullshit would have been on his side a few years ago. Same like with Occupy Wall Street, there would have been a very strong counter movement of young people, at least on the internet, if not on the street, if it was happening today. That's my theory, but I guess, you know, we can never go back in time and find out.
Yeah, look, I suppose it seems to fit. I just quickly we need to give this guy some advice. Kenny asks, I just found out my business partner is sleeping with my ex, and I don't know how to handle it. Any advice?
What?
Business partner.
Ooh.
Yeah, what, you got something, Sugar?
That's tricky, isn't it?
But your ex though, I mean,
yeah, I know.
Business is business. As long as you're making money, fuck, who gives a fuck?
Yeah, but it's hard to keep working with the same morale. Depends if you're able to sever ties and go your separate ways, do it. If not, be very clear about the boundaries moving forward, I guess.
How you feel about it, and keep it out of your face if it's
yeah. And fuck the guy's wife, obviously. Right? Yeah.
Vag for a vag.
That'd be interesting to know. Is he married? Is it on the side thing? Or is
cock for a cock.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Someone says 2011 was the start of the shit with Atheism Plus. So Atheism Plus was, I think, when the atheism sort of circle on YouTube started to disband, and then sort of, and that's where like the issues with feminism and all that sort of started to happen. I think, and yeah, people like Thunderfoot were at the center of that. Thunderfoot on one side, and what's that fucking bitch's name? Tits, that
Anita Sarkeesian.
No,
She's a bitch.
The fucking scientist, the
scientist chick,
Skepchick or whatever her name. Skepchick. What was her name?
Shit, I don't know. Skepchick.
It's on my tongue. Sorry, Rebecca Watson. Thank you, Vargonian. Thank you,
Rebecca Watson.
Yeah.
Oh. So from what I've picked up, like there was a lot of atheists on YouTube, and they had schism. Some said that a true atheist is also a feminist, whatever feminist means today, whatever it's come to mean. And obviously others said, hey, well, let's talk about this, slow down. And the response was that they got nailed to a cross, ironically enough. Do I have it about right?
Well, my impression is that in this atheist circle, some people started to say, well, to be a atheist, you've also got to believe that you've got to believe in equal rights, which means that you've got to be a feminist, right? And I think they started to attach these other things to atheism, which caused a reaction with the likes of Thunderfoot, who basically said, no, fuck off. An atheist is someone who doesn't believe in God, which he's right. Yeah. So,
and then we get Thunderfoot coming full circle of late, and
at the moment. Is he the gentleman who said he's leaving the community? I'm like subscribed to a million channels. I usually just catch the title. So remember, everyone.
Yeah.
The title is the most important thing, because a lot of people don't have time.
Yeah.
So he's leaving the movement that he himself helped create. Is that?
Yeah, but a mate of ours did a video very nearly viral and made a good point. I mean, how do you leave a community? I mean, he's not going to suddenly change the types of videos he's making. So.
It's weird. Does everyone realize this is all happening over the internet? Like, you don't have to move. Like, you don't have to go to pay a membership to be part of the community. Yeah. Like, there's no HOA fee. There's no union dues. Like, does everyone understand that? Like, this is people on the internet, most of whom are like under 40 or even under 25 in some cases. It's like, how much arguing does everyone want to do about like the community or whatever the fuck? I don't know. I'm confused. Can everyone just make some content?
Yeah, exactly.
And like, I realize there's a side of YouTube, like the internet, that's about debating ideas, and I think that's great. And that's great. I think that's a good thing. So God bless.
John Doe tells us that Justicar did do a pro Zimmerman video. Justicar's a good YouTuber.
He is a good YouTuber.
Yeah. So, Copper Cab.
Yeah.
The cab.
Yeah, your buddy.
Yeah.
Your buddy. He's fucking your buddy, man. So
Yeah.
he did a very similar response video to you that he did to me, where he
Yeah.
basically
Pounding on that fence.
he started mine topless. And I think he punched the fuck out of a trellis fence in yours rather than a wire fence. But he did the same.
I
He's
think it
latched
was
onto that
both.
same, I'm going to fuck you up verbally. I'm not a violent person.
I do love that. Fuck you up
Yeah.
verbally.
Yeah, that's good shit. I don't know. I mean, I don't know him any better than you do, really. I mean, I've spoken to him now a little bit because we're collaborating.
Mm.
He's an interesting human being. That's all I really know.
He is. He's
and so
actually very good at and rapping as well. I've heard some of his stuff he sent me privately, and he's very good, very talented.
Yeah, I mean, he's got a bright future. He's gonna be posting more content, I have a feeling. And now that like he's just like everyone knows who he is, I think people are gonna be surprised when they see more shit from him.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, he's been on YouTube for a long, long time. I mean, he's been on since I think he posted his first videos when he was like 15. So
Yeah,
16 or something.
yeah. South Park fucking lampooned him. They like had Cartman like verbatim say his exact shit. I used that footage for my video, although he was already enormous before I did that. But I never spoke to him. Like he blocked me immediately.
Is that right?
Yeah, when I posted that video, I didn't even tag him in it, but like he was following me, I think, and then he unfollowed and or no, he blocked me. And I just left him alone because, again, I never knew what his deal was. I obviously never wanted to bother anyone personally. Like I would not have made him famous. He already was. But my understanding now is that like he really didn't like the video, but like over time became kind of a fan. And like many people, like a story I've heard many times, the people, they laughed at this video and then they laughed at that one and then they laughed and then they saw one that kind of made fun of their particular values or their identity. And and they kind of had to have that kind of coming to moment where they're like, you know what, if I laughed at those other stereotypes, maybe this one's okay too. Yeah.
A lot of people do that though, don't they? Let's laugh at everything, but as soon as you touch my special subject, then fuck you to him.
So how long have you guys been on YouTube?
It's not all that long, has it?
I've been on for about a year and a half. But like as a YouTuber, a year and a half. Yeah.
Wow. How did you guys how'd you blow up?
I don't know. I wouldn't have a clue.
Don't know.
I mean, we did it very amateurish, amateurly. I basically started a channel just to tease fuckheads that I thought were funny on Friday night with my mates. So, and then, I think, within, a month I had 1,000 subscribers and then it just rolled on from there. But, and Sugar Tits was literally a joke because I wanted to portray myself as a misogynist in this skit. And so I rang Tits and said, listen, just chuck a pink bow on Bearing and call it Sugar Tits with it. And then,
and then I was in one of his videos, and after that, he's just like, "Oh, you should start your own channel," and I did.
Yeah. Remember your first video, Tits? I was sitting there and literally feeding Tits her lines, and she'd go, "Oh, I can't say that. It's terribly mean." I fucking say it.
He made. Oh my gosh. That was harsh. I got to admit, that's one of the harshest videos I ever did. And then, you can definitely see where it changed, where I took over the reins on my own videos. I do actually try and do a fair bit of parodying in some of my videos.
No shit. I have not seen that.
I did. The recent one I did was I did a non-binary trans sort of retake on Bruno Mars 24 Karat.
Which one was that?
Let me see if I can remember it. 24 karat non-binary gender conforming norms in the air.
Oh, is that the one? Is that the one where you're fucking? Is that the one where you're racist against the British actor?
Yeah. And then
tell Rucka about that. Tell Rucka. Oh, sorry. Just one thing. Sir Adamantine says, "Hey, Tits and Bearing."
Hey, man, how's it going?
Tell
what are you
Rucka
into?
about your blatant racism.
My
Yeah,
blatant
tell me about it.
accidental racism. I'm not a racist. Jeez.
Still counts. It still counts.
Oh, okay. Well, it was a MTV did a gender neutral award in order to be inclusive of non-binary people. So they made it was a male and female, could both be nominated for the awards, and it was a Best Actor award, and of course they gave it to Emma Watson, giving that she's SJW queen these days, and it pans at a moment. The camera pans to the audience and shows this black guy who was in that movie. Is it Get Out? Yeah, the new one recently. Yeah,
the horror sort of. Yeah,
yeah. He was nominated, obviously, and he missed out on it. And I just sort of cut the music out and did my best impersonation of Bernie Mac in House Party 3 over the top of him, saying, okay.
House Party 3, huh?
You're calling me okay.
The highly acclaimed House Party 3. Who doesn't remember every single line? I'm just wondering, because I've never been to Australia. Are all American movies out there like huge hits? Do you guys watch
only the sequels?
Friday,
Friday
oh no!
Not even sequels. Yeah, the sequels, like Friday After Next is like everyone's favorite movie out there.
Yeah, no one likes Friday. That's just you only like the 2s and 3s.
No, it was weird. It's just I just happened to love the House Party sequels growing up. But the whole thing was this guy, because he's British, so I accidentally stereotyped him as a.
Do the voice. Do the voice. Go on.
Oh, okay, all right.
Just do. God damn it.
Oh! How come? Oh, next time MTV want to do an award about equality, tell them how come they never give this award to a black man? God damn it!
So this is a British black man, a British black actor. He's a British accent, and Tits zooms in on him and does that voice, like tries to parody it. It's fucking hilarious. It was just so funny.
You got a voice. I mean, you both got great voices. Obviously, you only use your voice to communicate on YouTube. But yeah, Sugar, you got a nice singing voice, and you do good impressions and all that. You should definitely keep that going.
Oh, for sure. Every now and then, Bering tries to get me to sing properly, and then I have little freak out moments because
you got to do it.
Nervous about it.
No, don't be nervous.
Prophet Muhammad has dropped in and said, "I love me some chicks with dicks."
Yeah.
And and Mark says, "What, chicks with dicks?" Yes.
I don't think Rucka knows about the chicks with dicks saga.
No, I know.
Do you?
Yeah. Well, Barry, what do you call your fans? Like, like Bieber has the Beliebers. I've got the Nuckas. Like, you have like your Cubs or something.
What, the Nuckas? I don't have a name. People have suggested names, but I always found it a bit sort of, I don't know, a bit gay.
Bering Mafia.
Yeah, it'd be kind of gay. So I'm
Bering Mafia. If anything, it's Bering Mafia. Bering Mafia.
All right, I'm a mafioso. So I saw you. I don't know. You just hammered this guy Steve Shives into the ground with him. He like read some fan mail that said like, "I love." Oh, you wrote him the letter. And, yeah, and then he ended up like someone getting jumped and just beating the shit out of them at like a Bering or someone anti-SJW meetup or something.
Well, that was the mystery. So that was to make him think about it. So when he read it out, he's like, went to one of these shitlord meetups and got discriminated against and beaten up. Typical. No wonder these fucking misogynist fuckers. Like, he ate it up. He lapped it up.
He did. He saw that and thought, "Oh, this is a great piece of information here to make anti-SJWs look like the assholes I know them to be." Yeah. He bought it hook, line, and sinker. But the beautiful thing is that he's almost like the Untouchables on the feminist side, because he blocks everyone. He refuses to talk to or debate anyone. So
I'm blocked by him.
Are you?
Definitely be blocked. Of course Rucka's blocked, for fuck's sake. He's got a sense of humour.
Yeah, I saw. I think I saw like a screenshot where like a few months ago, like PewDiePie was blocked by him and like tweeted about it, and Steve was like, "Oh, sorry about that. I've got like an automatic blocker that just blocks everyone who's affiliated with someone I blocked or something."
Yeah.
And then PewDiePie, I think, blocked him.
That's fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, with Steve Shives, I mean, it's like his default position is blocked, and he's got to then unblock you.
Yeah.
The Prophet Muhammad is back. He says 50 splinters can lick my balls sweat.
And Ingy Bingy, the SJWs just call your fans the scum of the earth, which they, it's a bit French. Yeah, they are.
Beg your pardon?
No.
Yeah. The hordes of misogynist trolls that chase people off the internet, apparently.
Yeah.
The bullies. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So back to your music, man. What so you've got a producer that records all the music. That's interesting. How long have you worked with him for?
Since 2013 or no, 2012, like mid 2012, when my album Rucka's World came out. That was the end of me working with my previous producer, and since then I've been working with my current producer. So yeah.
And how long does he, like, if you come up with an idea for a song, how long does he take? Weeks? Does he take months? Like
No. Weeks is no. Could take a week. Depends on what he's got going on, really. So typically, on average, if I have an idea, from the time I conceive the idea to the time it like goes on YouTube is usually 2 weeks, give or take a couple days. Occasionally, it's just gone super fast. Like I'll have the idea, I'll write it quick. I'm emailing him right away. He sends me the music a day later. He mixes it fast. Everything moves along quickly. In an instance where there's like a big beef, like when KSI, threw me under the bus in front of the world. I told him, I said, look, as always, I can't ask you to, work at a certain speed. Because, I don't feel that I pay anyone enough to tell them to give them deadlines, but in an instance where it is kind of time sensitive, AKA this is going to get stale in a short while. He's pretty great about speeding it up. So
yeah, that's
handy.
That's pretty quick. And so you get the file back, and what you just chuck it into Pro Tools or something, or Reaper or something.
So he sends me a Pro Tools session, like a project. I open it up, I record my vocals, I zip it back, compress it back up and send it back to him, and he mixes it.
Oh, he does a final mix. Right.
That's pretty cool.
My name is Ray sort of states but asks, Rucka, slap my bitch tits with your kung fu grip.
Yeah.
It is a statement. So.
Not much of a question. We're only taking questions here today. Please, no comments. No, it's old school. That's from a highly acclaimed song called Ching Chang Chong. I use my kung fu grip to strap your bitch's tits. Actually, interestingly enough, the first song to ever get deleted by YouTube back in the summer of 2009. Up until that point, I thought I have fucking reached nirvana. Not the band. I've reached what a beautiful thing, right? Blowing up on YouTube, just writing whatever the fuck I want to do and seeing all this traffic. I'm like, oh my God. And then my biggest video to date at the time, it just deleted. Oh, community guidelines. Oh, it's hate speech. They called it hate speech. And as you know, there's nobody you can talk to. There's no appeals process, or at least back then there wasn't. And it was just like, but I just moved on to the next song, but the next day I look up the song, just when it when you're in denial about shit, like you want to look it up and just say, well, maybe it'll be there by some fluke. And then I know, I saw that there were 10 uploads of it. Like my fans had ripped the video, and then they uploaded it. So then that became part of the whole narrative where my video would get deleted. And then there'd be a bunch of other uploads of it. And it's it almost became expected that the video would get deleted. And now you'll see 100 different uploads of each video. No one even knows which channel is really mine anymore. And back then, each rip of a video, like each re-upload lost like 10% of its resolution, and often would like move the audio slightly, so it was a little bit out of sync. Like, so there's a lot of shitty uploads of my videos out there that have millions of views. So history is always interesting. And then I remind myself, like, I'm talking about a song called Ching Chang Chong. I'm talking about it like, oh yeah, my first novel, my first PhD.
Yeah.
Like, Jesus Christ, dude.
Do you have trouble with people stealing your work and re-uploading it and profiting off it on YouTube?
I don't think too many people profit off of it, but well, since there was such a culture of deletion in my first few years, I was very much in favor or not opposed to people re-uploading it, and no one was really making a lot on parodies at the time because they would get automatically claimed by the original artist. So if it's like a Katy Perry parody, it would get copyright. It would get claimed by her label. At least it wasn't deleted. I was just happy it wasn't getting deleted, so it would get monetized on Katy Perry's behalf or her label. And but then like some companies have emerged since then that they claim it on my behalf. So so now I do make money on YouTube. But there was for most of my journey, I made nothing on YouTube. YouTube was only about just getting the video out there, getting the traffic, posting what I want to post. And if people bought it on iTunes, that was a plus. And then Spotify, of course, and Pandora, all these streaming services made it even more profitable. So yeah, music, if you got popular music, you know, if you got music that's getting a lot of traffic, you're making money, even if it's not on YouTube. Yeah.
Isn't it? It's so easy to digitally distribute now, isn't it? Like,
oh yeah.
I use
I don't want to. I don't use DistroKid. I don't want to volunteer the information of which company I use. Not that it's really a secret. I just don't really feel like any good would come of that. But yeah, I've been distributing music digitally since 2008. So a lot
was
of things,
was it harder back then? I mean, I recall it used to be.
It was pretty simple. Fuck it. It's TuneCore. I don't know. I've fucking done campaigns with them. I fucking like I've helped promote them, and they in turn, you know, like we publicly affiliated. I mean, it's always been pretty easy. It's always been pretty simple. You just gotta like know how to create an account. It's ultimately it's all email. You know, the only difficulty I've ever had in my life is fucking live streaming. You gotta like set up OBS and fucking trial and error a bunch of fucking times, and then Twitch streams are another science. It's fucking confusing.
Yeah, I'm only just learning OBS now. It's pretty fucking hard.
Yeah, let me turn on the AC. I'm like getting heated talking about OBS. Hold on.
No worries.
Prophet Muhammad is back and says, "I am the prophet, and bearing is my second coming, but coming is CUMMING."
Oh, I see what you did there, Muhammad.
Like it.
Love it.
All right.
No problem. Is that a Wii controller behind you? You still got Wii?
Way. I'm sorry. I could spend 10 minutes going way.
That's the accent, man. The Nintendo Wii.
It's literally okay. Here's how old school I am. I'm only into side-scrolling fucking video game, like Mario and Donkey Kong from the Super Nintendo is like everything I need. And then when the Nintendo Wii put out the Mario Bros, I was like, this is this is my fucking childhood validated. Like so I got a Wii just for that game, and then Donkey Kong came out for that. And then I got a Wii U for the same reason. But now I'm thinking of getting like a PS4 to like kind of start to expand my horizons. But yeah, I mean, I'm not a gamer. It's that fucking word is weird to me. I know I sound like a major fucking grandpa right now. But like, when did people that play video games get to like give themselves a fucking title? You play games. You're fucking wasting your time. I work from home, you know, you see what I do. It's time consuming, but it's not fucking like, it's pretty comfortable to be able to work on that with no day job. And I don't have time to fucking play video games. So who the fuck is spending fucking like 60 hours a week fucking taking bong rips and plugged into their fucking flat screen? Jesus Christ.
I'm the same. I'm not much of a gamer, but I got into I had my
You're
first
a terrible
go
gamer.
at,
Let's be honest, Bearing.
I had my first go at GTA 5 the other week. I'm legendary at it. I'm fucking so good at it.
No, he's really shit.
GTA's one I got into, like the PS2 GTA, like Vice City, not Vice City, San Andreas and whatever.
Andreas,
like I got into that because I knew the cheats. It wasn't even about the missions. It was about hiding somewhere and just blowing up the helicopters.
Yeah, just shooting cunts. And the other fun thing is like stealing rad cars and driving up the mountain and finding jumps so you can jump off and like fuck shit up. That's good.
Oh, other than that, remember there was the cheat to spawn, and you could spawn a massive truck. And just drive that right off the cliff.
Crazy. And here you are now doing that type of sociopathic behavior on the internet. Isn't it amazing? Like how we've arrived? Like I used to get on chat rooms in the late 90s when I was 12 or 11 and get on fucking, WWF.com, before WE was WF, and just talk shit, just fucking fuck you, faggot, fuck I'll fucking kill you. And like that was the most fun thing. I feel like chat rooms were a great thing. Like I don't know why they went away. It's like, but now it's like I'm basically doing something similar now, and it's cringe, but it's like I do it for a living. It's weird, man.
I don't know what chats like are now, like how well they're moderated, but I remember being a 15-year-old girl going onto those chats, and every other private message would be some guy going, "Hey, want a cyber? Do you cyber?"
Cyber.
Jesus Christ, yeah, absolutely. I was I don't know if this is criminally incriminating to say this, but I was very young, knew nothing about sex, and somehow ended up cybering in these private messages. Yeah, it's like I was just said what I thought would make sense, and I was getting a positive. Chances are the person I was talking to was fucking no older than me, so we were both just a bunch of or whatever. I'm good at bullshitting. I'm good at mailing it in till I figure out.
It was probably Tits. You and Tits probably cybered.
Yeah, I remember a lot of Australians on those chat rooms. A lot of Aussies.
Yeah,
what was your name, Tits? Was it like 13-year-old 69 tit slut or something?
I think I was groomed this womb 69.
Yeah, everyone just add 3 years to however old everyone said they were. Like subtract 3 years if they tell you they're 19 in a chat room. But
groom this womb.
60. I was pretty good. I came up with that on the spot.
That was fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Johnny Bravo asks, "Are you guys going to live stream your wedding?" Fuck off, Johnny.
So okay, are you two very private about like who you are? Like is there ever going to be a face reveal like they tend to do?
I've done a face reveal. You can see my lovely face on my second channel.
Oh shit! I'm looking it up now. I want to see this.
Yeah.
Go and have a look. You'll be impressed.
Well, Bering used to be in a band, so it was kind of hard to hide his identity.
What's your URL? I'm like.
Just type it. Just search.
I'll find it. Sorry to ask. I hate when people ask me dumb questions. Well, what's your newest video? Like, why are you asking me? Fucking look it up.
The channel name is just Patrick.
Okay.
Do you get recognized much, Rucka?
No, I don't get approached very often.
Really? I thought you would.
It's kind of nice.
No, I mean I would think so too. That people think I'm like. I don't know. Like people I talk to online, they have sometimes this reverence, I guess. I don't know, but like I get a lot of fan mail and all that shit. But I mean, my face is not really a big part of my videos. There's really usually just one at the beginning where I'm doing this face, and then so about like I've been kind of growing. Like I've been plugging my social media a lot the last a year or two. Like. With like Snapchat, especially living in LA. I moved out here 3 years ago, and out here it's like you got to promote everything you do. It's weird. It's like there's so many famous people walking around. It's like you want to grab any element of fame you have and like
leech onto it like a fame leech. Yeah.
Did you move to LA because of your career?
Sort of. Obviously, if there is going to be another avenue I go down, it's going to probably happen here. But also, it's like, where do I want to live? Like, it's like I'm making all this money from home, and it's like, what do I want to do with my life? And probably others, in this industry, so to speak, have a similar kind of journey where it's like, well, I could basically live anywhere that has Wi-Fi, so where do I want to go? And I always loved LA. Like I always thought it was the coolest place. It's beautiful. It's like the colors are brighter out here. You guys got to visit if you haven't.
I've been there once. It's lovely. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And had you lived in a big city before that, or did you come from a small town?
Detroit's
East Coast?
it's like Midwest, but like
Midwest.
not too far from the East Coast. It's like one of the more eastern, Midwestern. It's got a glorious past. A lot of cities in America have that same story. Like it had a glorious past of manufacturing and all the Motor City, Detroit Motor City. A lot of cars used to be made there. A lot of music, Rock City, Detroit Rock City back in the 70s or whatever. So it's like, it has a glorious past. Now they mostly do a lot of complaining and and telling themselves that they're bouncing back. But I don't really pay attention to Detroit, so I wouldn't know. They might be bouncing back. I don't really give a shit.
Fair enough. What about you, Rucka? Have you done much traveling? Ever been to Australia? Or?
No, I mean, it's so fucking far, but I guess now that I'm on the West Coast, it's not that far anymore.
No, it's about,
it's about 14 hours or something.
15 hours, yeah, I think.
Yeah.
That's too long to sit on a plane. I fucking hate planes.
Yeah.
It's not that bad. I took you to London. That was a long flight.
I bet that shit was long. But yeah, no, I mean, my impression of Australia is that it's like a big fucking island in the middle of nowhere. So it's like, who would think to go there? But
well, it kind of is.
It's like a fucking continent. It's a continent island. It's fucking
It is a
huge.
continent.
I learned this as a child. It's the only country that's also a continent.
Yeah.
Yes.
It is too, yeah. It is.
Yeah.
How about that? Well,
And,
is Antarctica technically a country or is it just a continent?
I don't know. Is it
That's
country?
true.
Yeah, hang on. Can something be just a continent and not? That's a fucking good question.
I mean,
really good question.
Yeah.
I thought like like the Pacific Islands and that were sort
Specific island. What
I said
island
the
specifically?
Pacific
No, you fucking
Islands.
didn't.
Don't try and make me
we'll
sound
rewind
like
the
an
tape.
idiot. You idiot. No, I thought they were sort of included in the Australasia continent.
Australia. I don't think Australasia is a.
No, it's not
Just a
specifically.
region.
Otherwise, where the fuck do they belong? They just don't belong to a continent.
Is sorry to interrupt the geography lesson. Is days like today? Is that you, Bering?
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Ah, I mean, it's black and white, and you're hiding your chin like Leafy, but you're a good-looking dude, man. you're not some fat fuck like I was honestly picturing.
I'm a little bit fat.
Oh well, I mean,
You got to lose some.
you got to work on that. You know, you got a good thing going. You're in show business now. Come on.
Yeah.
On YouTube as well.
I crunch. I do push-ups. I
You
lift.
tell him, Rucka.
I mean, I do an hour of cardio or a little less.
I've got a fucking treadmill in the house. For some reason, he thinks like gym equipment is gay or something, and he just refuses to use it. Like, what's up with that? Why won't you use the treadmill, Bering?
I don't know. I mean, it's really about the endorphins. It's about feeling good. Like, don't you get kind of a rush? Are you an alcoholic, Bering? Do you drink a lot? Like, what's
Part time.
Let's grill Bering. Yeah, come on.
Part time.
yeah.
Part time.
Well, I enjoy getting the rush. I'm honest. Like, I'm addicted to my elliptical, but I know it's a good. They say it's a good addiction to have. Anyway.
What's
You're
the
addicted to what?
elliptical?
Elliptical. What's that?
It's like a cardio. It's like a bike, but not a bike. It's like you're standing and you're like moving your.
It's like one of those. It's a stairs machine.
Sort of, but your feet never leave the pedal.
Yeah.
You're just kind of moving them in a circular
Oh, in a
motion.
circular motion. Yeah.
Yeah, you get one of those. 'Cause running isn't supposed to be very
Yes.
good for you long term. Like it kind of fucks with your
The joints.
Your joints.
Do you have a lycra get up? Do you wear tight clothing when you do that?
Me?
Yeah.
Oh, I mean,
Why not?
I know you're roasting me, but absolutely, my
I'm not roasting you at all. That's a legitimate question. I'm just.
Yeah. No, I mean, I wear the tightest fucking jeans I can find, and that's that's the real me. I mean,
You get chafing?
Yeah. No, I don't. Surprisingly, I think my inner thighs have adjusted to the environment. So yeah, You know,
Good
still,
sweat
I don't
tolerance.
have the biggest arms out there, but you know, I'm working on it. Maybe we can check in another time, another live stream, and I can show you my progress.
Yeah, well, we can measure those.
I do have calves that that God designed.
Oh, nice.
God did the heavy lifting for that. My calves are like, I'm gonna be a calf model when I get the headshots done.
Imagine when they grow up to be cows. It'd be spectacular.
Dickhead.
Johnny Bravo's back. He says, "Come on, B-dog. Let me get an invite to that cyber. Oh, fuck, imagine doing a cyber wedding.
I don't want to have a wedding, let alone a cyber wedding.
You're
I've
not
never been to a bear wedding.
So you two are not married. In other words, you're
No.
engaged. That's nice.
I'll put it this way: if I fucked off, she could like take half the shit because we've been living together for that long.
It's like common law, as they call it, or whatever.
Yeah.
How long have you two been together?
Fucking ages.
14 years.
Since
Wow.
Since I was 17 and he was 18.
I met her in a cyber chat. Her name is Groom My Womb 17.
Nice.
Liar.
Groom My Womb. That's fucking gold.
You're gonna use that, aren't you? Hey, have you heard of Pogo?
What's Pogo?
No, you haven't heard.
Pogo's an artist from Australia.
Sounds familiar, actually. I like Silverchair. They're an underrated band. You guys love them out there, right? Or is that a stereotype? You guys love fucking Silverchair. No,
they turned a bit. They turned a little bit away from.
I mean, they turned. They got better with every album. They're like, it's like watching a fucking child become a fucking beautiful man.
You know some of their more recent work?
Their most recent album, I literally listened to today, naked in the shower. Young Modern.
Fair enough.
Yeah,
but they're definitely changed from their what was it?
They were Nirvana doubles when they started.
Yeah, it was cute. They were like they were 15 playing on Saturday Night Live. I'm as punk as the next guy. I'll fucking trash your I'll torch your fucking bus if you sell out, bro. But I mean, I don't think that at age 15 you're like signing in blood to play one kind of music, but they really they got more complex with every album, and their last one, which I think was 2007 or 2008, they sounded like the Beatles on crack.
Yeah.
Are they still together? That's a long time.
I think they broke up or took a break, so you know, it's been a while.
I think Daniel Johns he always had health.
He had some problems,
He had anorexia problems and all that.
Yeah.
He did.
Yeah. Poor guy.
I posted a link in their side chat there for you to click on. This is a Pogo song, one of his recent things. He's very talented. He's definitely worth you.
I don't see the side chat. I see it. If I play it, will everyone hear it or just me?
Just you, I think.
Okay. I don't hear anything literally. Let me check out the. I'll work on. Okay, I'll check it out. It looks like some kind of meme shit. Is he a memer?
Oh, he's a bit more than that. He's a sort of what would you call it? Like a
DJ.
Not a mashup, but he's a fucking like a producer that just makes really, really good music out of, like, he recycles stuff. Like you'll get Donald Trump sort of harmonizing with himself, and but in really good, well produced music. So you'll like him.
And then all of his editing as well. So he does a lot of editing. It's kind of like sort of similar to what you do.
He was talking about making a bearing song, which would be fantastic. If you're listening to Pogo, let's not
we're
give
still
up
waiting on
dreaming
that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like Auto Tune the News, the one I just watched, kind of.
Yeah, similar.
Yeah, good shit. So what do you guys like to talk about? Like what do you guys want to talk about?
Well, it's up to you, Rucka. Up to you, Rucka. You're the guest.
All right. So a lot of these anti-feminists, they're like, most of them come from the left, right? And then a select few kind of are right wing before they're anti-feminist. Like, okay, Steven Crowder. He's conservative, and now like he's getting a lot of popularity with, you know, anti-feminist. I'm just using the term anti-feminist to describe like this whole scene, whatever.
Yeah.
for SJW, anti-feminist sort of.
Yeah, Steve Crowder's good. He's he's definitely right wing, isn't he? But is he originally Canadian? Or am I imagining that?
Yeah, he's Canadian. He comes from a family of performers, and he's from what I've seen, he's a very bright dude and like very talented. He throws in these accents. He's full of life. Very, very bright dude. Comes from good stock. It seems.
He's very quick off the mark, isn't he? You've got a very, very quick switched on brain.
Yeah. But yeah, so who are you? Like, where do you guys come from? Or did you guys go through a journey like so many? Like where I know I watched Sargon. Okay, Sargon. I like call him Sargon. Like he calls himself like an old school lefty or something like that. Is that
I think he calls himself a classical liberal.
Yeah.
Look, I'm not ultra political. I suppose I've only really thought about politics in a sense wider than Australia since I started YouTubing. And in Australia, it's a little bit different because what we call a liberal over here is actually a conservative.
Yeah, it's all back to front. Typical.
Yeah, and the lefties are more what we call the Labor Party.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a little bit different, but I never really thought about the whole left-right dynamic until I started. Shit posting on the internet.
Yeah, I mean it's a stupid dynamic anyway. It's a stupid way to break things up, but it just a lot of people kind of came over. They're kind of like normal liberals. They were like, it's crazy. Like I've watched, I like binging on channels. I'm watching a lot of Chris Ray Gunn's older stuff, or his not current stuff, like his from a few months ago, and he says stuff like I remember there was a time when like George Carlin was the liberal, the face of liberal, like being offensive, saying what you want now. And it got me thinking, like, imagine if George Carlin was alive today, like he would get fucking picketed. Like, what would he do? Would he be like?
Yeah, he'd be no platformed for sure.
Yeah, but would he though? But he's fucking George Carlin, like.
Yeah, because he's offensive as all fucking, and the left, like this ultra left wing now are the ones that are doing this fucking, fuck free speech. Just don't be offensive. It's gone full circle. It's the other side now that seems to be.
You guys know Don Imus?
No.
Oh, you don't? Okay, so like, well, he's been on the radio, doing talk radio, for probably a half century. He's like one of these old school talk radio morning drive guys. And about 10 years ago, he got into a lot of trouble he was like, they were like watching a women's basketball game and like commenting on it as part of the morning show. And Don Imus, the main host, at one point goes, "Oh, look at those nappy-headed hoes."
Oh,
and it blew up, right? This was like Al Sharpton. Do you know who that is? Jesse Jackson. These are American. I mean, they're not as prominent now because they don't need to be. We've got everybody at every university doing their work for them. But there's like all the shit to get him fired, and he got fired, and this was like a big deal. And I don't know why I brought it up, but like there's an example. Okay, and guys like Keith Olbermann, do you know who that is?
No.
Okay, he was on MSNBC, which is kind of the left wing version of Fox News over here. Yeah. And Keith Olbermann, he was like just this outspoken pundit. And when the Don Imus controversy happened, I don't think he was exactly taking part in the lynch mob, but he was super fucking cool about it. He brought Al Sharpton on. Al Sharpton was leading the charge. He just brings Al Sharpton on. I'm sure you can find this video on YouTube. He just goes, so Mr. Reverend Sharpton, okay, so Don Imus said nappy-headed hose on his program. Yes, that's right. And okay, so you got him fired. Yes. Oh, okay, great. And that was the extent of the interview. That was how the tough hitting questions he had for a guy who goes after people's livelihoods and blackmails, no pun intended, and threatens and fucking lives to fuck people.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a week, isn't it?
And that was it. And then at another point, when I saw George Carlin on Keith Olbermann's show, telling Keith Olbermann what a big fan he was saying like, yeah, I watch your show all the time. And, you know, this country is going to hell in a handbasket, but you call it like it is. And I just remember resenting Carlin for that. I said, Carlin, like I mean, not to say George specifically was paying attention to the Don Imus thing. But the same thing happened with Dr. Laura, if you know who that is. She's just like a nice talk show, like talk radio Q&A lady. She gives people advice. A lot of kind of Christian right families would call her up. Hi, my son is having premarital sex. What do I do? Tell him it's not okay if he lives in your home. Okay, there's your advice. She also got in trouble. Some lady called in, and a black lady called in who's married to a white man, and she says she's uncomfortable with some of the racial jokes and racial slurs that her husband's friends say. And Dr. Laura said, well, so what? You know, you turn on HBO and these and all you hear is nigger, nigger, nigger.
Oh, dropping the info.
Spoiler alert, she was not on the radio within a week or two. She like, so yeah, again, so all this boy, I mean, this shit was happening a long time ago. You know, as much as I'd like to see myself as a fortune teller by fucking raising hell and being, you know, what they call a shit poster. I mean, the shit was happening. So I remember listening to George Carlin on Olbermann's show, and it must have been pretty close to Carlin's death, and just telling Keith Olbermann like, yeah, you tell it like it is, and I watch your show all the time. And you know, and Keith Olbermann, who's such a fucking narcissist, he has this big like look on his face like, wow, that means so much. Like if Carlin was alive today, I gotta think Keith Olbermann would be nailing him to a cross along with everyone. Keith Olbermann has no spine whatsoever. He just joins the fucking mob as far as calling people racist and going after people's free expression. So it's just, I wonder if George Carlin was helping set up helping us, it's got to think of some poetic way to say this. He was digging his own grave, even though he would literally be dead within a couple of years. I wonder if he was digging the grave of his own platform by kind of.
Did this bloke have anything? Did he jump on the Bill Maher bandwagon recently?
Keith Olbermann?
Yeah,
that's a good question. I'm curious about that. I know he fancies himself an edgy dude. He thinks he's cool.
What's his name? Keith Olbermann.
Yeah, no one has the heart to tell him.
I think OL.
Yeah, OLB. He lost his job at MSNBC. I think he was donating illegally, or no, he was donating to some political campaign which was against MSNBC's rules, which is a dumb rule to have. I think, you know, I would not impose that rule. So it's a weird reason for him to lose a job. I got to think he was the highest rated, him and Rachel Maddow. So yeah, just think about all the anti-Rachel Maddow. I know Rachel, like, everything that's on like regular TV is like hardly relevant in the world of everyone on YouTube. But just think about all your little friends on the internet, if I can be so condescending. Think about all the anti-Young Turks videos you've seen. And just, I mean, let me tell you, 10 years ago, I fucking hated the Young Turks. I fucking hated them. I thought they were so
10 years ago you did.
10
That's
years
impressive.
Well, I mean, it's not that impressive. I mean, they were doing the same shit back then. They're like, I don't know if there's this narrative out there that they changed and they lost their, no, they were always this smug, fucking in your face, condescending, dismissive group of hacks. They were never fair. They were never, they never supported the spirit of debate. They were never for, they never stood for anything positive. I mean, yeah, they were anti the Iraq war, which, you know, fine, but like, probably not for the same reasons that I would be against that war. It's just like, they're just so fucking, so just, I mean, you know, I don't have to tell you what's wrong with them, but I'm telling you, like, they were doing the shit back then. And that's why at the, you know, early on in this conversation, I asked, like, was there this whole YouTube community, whatever, happening 5 years ago, 10 years ago? Like, maybe it was, and I just wasn't watching it. I just wasn't looking for it or paying attention. Because when I go think back from like 3-4 years ago, not even 3 years ago, literally like when was Gamergate? Whatever that, like 2015?
Yeah, 4 years ago. 3 years ago, I suppose.
Okay, well, I don't even know if everything changed then, because again, I haven't been paying attention that long. But when I think, okay, here's the perfect way to set it up. You know, Dear White People, the Netflix show.
Yeah.
Now think of all the fucking backlash it got from. Think about fucking Andy Warski. Right? think of if you guys, you know, debunked it.
Oh no, I didn't touch that because I didn't know enough about it.
Well, you're Australian. You're Australian. You know, don't talk shit about our entertainment. I'm joking. But yeah, like think about all the dislikes on YouTube. Think about all the fucking negative attention that show, the trailer for it got. And I'll tell you, literally the same trailer went on YouTube 4 years ago or so, 3 years ago even, for the movie that was coming out, and it was the same fucking trailer. Right. It was that same girl on the radio going, "Dear white people, blah 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 blah. Racism against white people doesn't exist. Blah 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 blah." And again, maybe there was a backlash, and I wasn't paying attention. But I'll tell you, I didn't really sense it. I didn't see it in the culture. The only anti-SJWs at the time were like Christian conservatives like Sean Hannity, who I always felt uncomfortable, having any common ground with.
Yeah. You know what I've noticed? I think something that's evolved more recently is this white guilt thing. Like, I don't know how much that was around, 3 or 4 years ago. Now it's like,
it's plague proportions now, isn't it? It's fucked.
It is plague proportions. It's absolute guilt for being a white person, and then they make it their business to be social justice warriors, white social justice warriors. Like, we're so sorry for what we did. We're gonna. It's
been around. It was around again. I mean, again, it's been around for decades. Honestly, as long as there's been like a hard left.
Has it escalated?
It's become like the internet made everything, all the extreme elements of the world more kind of mainstream. But this shit was happening in universities for probably since like the 1960s. And I mean, through the 90s, absolutely. The 2000s, I mean, like the shit's existed. White liberals always apologized for being white, and white conservatives didn't really know what to make of it, so they just like you see guys like these kind of alt-right types today talking about, well, white people aren't so bad, we invented this shit, we accomplished that shit. And it's like everyone kind of thinks of that things in terms of collectives, right? Everything's a collective. White people, women, gays, everything's collective. The answer, the antidote to all this bullshit should just be individuals. Everyone's a person.
You're right.
Just
I completely agree with that.
Clear all this shit out.
What they do, they divide groups, like by making everything like about inclusion. Like, you have to include this group and this group, and you're right. It should be more about individuals.
Yeah, I mean, it should only be about individuals. And I mean, even to this day, I mean, the majority of anti-SJWs, I don't see the word individual coming up that often. But
with anti-SJWs.
Right, with anti-SJWs, the good guys, right? The guys who get it. But I mean, I'm seeing a lot of, look, I don't want to generalize, and I don't want to definitely insult some of my favorite channels, but I'm saying I'm not seeing the word individual come up too often. I know it. I've seen Sargent. I'll just call him that because I enjoy it. I've seen him use words like talk about collectivism, which is a beautiful thing to say, as in the collectivists are the bad guys. I love that. But in all honesty, it's basically an all or nothing game. Either we see all of society as a sum of individuals, or we don't, or we're paving the way for some variant of Marxism.
Yeah. Speaking of the Young Turks, I'm working on a response to Anita Sarkeesian about her latest video, and in it I sort of sidetracked to the Young Turks video that they did on the London terror attacks, And it's fucking incredible. They like, speaking of the white guilt sort of shit. I watched this 13-minute video, right? And they talk about like they talk about fucking they talk about Tony Blair, George W. Bush, the British government's privacy and surveillance policies, the US military, the police, the FBI, the IRA, and white supremacists. They criticise Western governments for killing innocent people in the Middle East. They condemn public officials for the rhetoric they use, and they shit-talk US foreign policy. Not once in the whole 13-minute video do they mention Islam or Muslim.
Mm-hmm. Well, again, this has been happening. This is nothing new. The same exact thing happened after 9/11 and after every other terrorist attack. Any time a terrorist attack has happened on Western soil in the last few decades, the blame has been assumed by the victim, the country that had been hit. And the problem here is not that, by the way, was it Sarkeesian? Because I recently found out that Sarkeesian is not Kasparian, that they're two separate.
They kind of look alike as well.
Right. Is Sarkeesian on the Young Turks? Is that?
No. Sarkeesian was the one that was wrapped up in Gamergate.
Yeah,
and
right.
she did her trope series, and
So Kasparian is
she's Young.
He's the bitch on the Young Turks.
Is the one
I'm better than you.
She's the one you're debunking now. She's the one you're.
Well, no. Actually, it's that might be the confusion. I'm talking to I'm responding to Sarkeesian, which is the Gamergate one. But I sort of sidetracked to the Young Turks, which is Kasparian in the same video.
Yeah.
Okay. And the problem is not the nonsense that these guys are. Okay, the problem is not. Okay, let's just use the right-left terms just for an easy way to divide this. Okay, we'll use the word left to divide everyone that doesn't want to utter the word Islam, and we'll use the word right to describe everyone that wants to acknowledge that it has something to do with the bombs going off. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So the left says, "Oh, this is Tony Blair's fault. We're not multicultural enough. This is where we got military bases on Muslim holy grounds. This is blah 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 blah." What's the right saying in response? Is the right coming along and saying, "No, here's the problem. We're not identifying the enemy. We're not going after Iran and Saudi Arabia, who clearly and openly is educating people to be, Muslim terrorists, as well as openly boasting about doing so and paying for it. And are they saying we need to figure out what we stand for as a Western country? What does that mean? What does the West mean anymore?
Well, I mean, I think it's pretty hard to generalize the right, even in the sense that we're using them. But I think, again, in the sense that we're using the right, I mean, they're just calling it as they see it. The fact is that, Muslims are going around blowing people up and stabbing people and running people over and that sort of thing. I mean,
I agree that, that we'll call them the right. I agree that the right is saying, hey, these are Muslims doing this and we need to acknowledge that. And that's a step in the right direction, but it doesn't really go far enough. There needs to be a declaration of, this is a war of ideas. There is an ideology here attacking us because we're Western. And what does that mean? What does being Western mean? Does it mean living in Western Europe? Does it mean dressing a certain way? Or does it mean, again, individualism? Does it mean individual rights? Why did they attack the World Trade Center? If they just hate infidels or whatever, why don't they go after fucking Buddhist monks somewhere? Obviously they do.
Well, I think they see it as revenge for for the West invading a lot of countries, a lot of Middle Eastern countries, don't they?
But the more the West pulls back, the more the West gets attacked, and there needs to be. By the way, even if that was true, even if that was true, that the only reason 9/11 happened was because America was involved in the Middle East, there is clearly a movement to take over the world. There is clearly a mission statement to take over the world. And why are they coming after the West so hard? Why don't they start with China? They hate Western civilization because we're individualistic, because we believe in science and reason, because of our Enlightenment values, because we're building beautiful things here on Earth. We build tall, beautiful buildings. We create beautiful art, especially we used to, not so much anymore, but we're living for life here on Earth. We're not focused on the afterlife. We're not waiting to have, you know, Allah hand us something after we're dead. So
Virgins.
there needs to be more of a focus on, like, why are they attacking? Why do they hate the West, and what is the West? And you know, and again, a lot of these alt-right people, they're like, oh, the West is white people. The West is, you know, nationalism. The West is strength. And it's like, that's not the way I see it. What made the West great to begin with is the Enlightenment, is reason, the discovery of
the freedoms that we have. I think it's a
the freedoms. Hold on, the freedoms are a consequence of us embracing reason, which is an individualistic concept, only in individual reasons. I mean, and I don't know if this is like way more intellectual than you like to discuss on your channel.
Oh no, that's not it. I mean, I think it's a big fucking big wide question that that three shit posters probably won't get to the bottom of in a live stream. But hey, just quickly, fucking Johnny Bravo's giving a shit. He says, "All right, I'm off to Copper Cab stream where he's showing breasts." 10 out of 10, high quality stream. Big dick Johnny was here. Fuck you, Johnny.
That'd be right. Copper Cab. He's always trying to steal the show with them titties.
We should get Copper on here. Fucking and then Don Caller says, Rucka, I just wanted to say again, really love your Life Is Over song. Also, Sugar Tits is the hashtag better bearing. Yeah, fuck you, Don.
There's one more, I think.
We should get Copper in here.
It says high bearing, high sex change.
Well, hopefully Copper is working on the song that I'm supposed to release with him very soon.
He's busy live streaming, isn't he? He's busy live streaming. Yeah, right at this moment.
Copper Cab is.
Yeah.
Someone should go to Copper Cab's live stream and invade the chat and tell him to get the fuck over into this stream. We'll combine.
I wonder if he's talking about you two, talking about him.
Yeah, I mean,
assholes.
No, I mean, I'm not an asshole. I'm the good guy. I'm just trying to collab.
Yeah,
I'm a bit of an asshole.
He actually asked me yesterday. He said he'd love to do a music collaboration with you, Bearing, as well. Yeah,
he did. Yeah, you told me that on Skype a couple of nights ago. Someone said it's already happening, but I've got to go to this fucking Copper Cab live stream and see if they. Someone says General Bearing commands attack. No, I don't. Get fucked. That's not what I'm doing.
Is your outro your own music, Bearing?
It is. Yeah, that's
oh shit.
That's my old band.
Kind of sounds like Social Distortion a little bit.
Never heard Social. They're American punk band.
I don't even know if they're American. They might be British, like so many of the greats.
Hey.
What are you doing? Are you listening to Copper Cab?
I'm just having a look. Yeah. There's a lot of people saying
abandoning your own stream to listen to Copper Cab.
No. I'm just saying, if people can suggest to Copper Cab that he should come over to our stream, that'd be funny.
So you were trying to get him to abandon his stream to come on.
Oh, he's on with Joy Sparkle. Look at that.
Oh right, Joy Sparkles. Yeah.
Yeah. Fucking hell.
Fair enough.
Yeah. So when do you expect this? Well, I suppose it depends on whether Copper Cab.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully he's, hopefully I can rely on him to get that to me soon, and then it's just a matter of days, really.
Yeah. So you can do
that'll be good.
Your part in days. That's fucking good.
Yeah,
that's quite impressive.
Well, we all have our skills.
Yeah, well, it helps you've got the producer there as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
On the side.
You guys have like high engagement in your world, in the commentary world. Like you have people, like you're talking about ideas and stuff. Like my fans, kind of traditionally, they just want a new song.
Yeah.
They're just like, oh, where's the new song? Where's the new song? And I'm like, yeah, but check this out. Yeah, who cares? Where's the new song? So. Hey.
What's the demographic roughly of your audience? Like, what sort of age are we talking?
At first it was like early teenagers or just teenage boys. It still is mostly male. And now it might be kind of dipping into the 20s to mid 20s. I don't know. It's probably still teenage men. Like probably the only adult men that are watching are like YouTubers that saw me on Twitter and like, and now we're friends. But yeah, I think like kind of by and large, it's like 13 to 18 male.
Yeah.
Fair enough. I think 90% of my audience is male, so there you go.
Gemini says, I hope this is in quotation. I hope this isn't too intellectual for you guys. Oh, shut up.
That's not what I said. That's not what I said. I said I don't know if you want to talk about this shit. That guy fucking hates me, dude. That guy's fucking out for me.
I did a collab with him just yesterday. I just put it yesterday.
He seems like a wonderful person, but I must remind him of someone from his past. I don't know what the deal is.
Yeah, what's your problem, Gemini? Oh, well, he says what he means.
You guys should give me the $5 he just donated. Sure.
I'll get that to you. And then Ingy Blingy or some shit says, I'd love to hear you guys talk about Evergreen State. Okay, yeah, that's a good topic. Evergreen State. Thoughts?
Yeah. So yeah, the students are going apeshit. The faculty are appeasing them. Always a good sign. And okay, so this is an interesting thing. This is like, you know how I fucking sit here on my high horse and talk about how I hated the Young Turks 10 years ago.
Yeah.
I hated university
culture
protests decades before I was born. You know, like people say like, oh, Berkeley used to have the free speech movement. No, it didn't. they fucking called it the free speech movement, but it was anything but. It was a bunch of hippies. It was a bunch of
even back in the 60s, you're talking.
Yeah, they were fucking brown shirts, dude. They held faculty members hostage in their office back then too. It was all just a bunch of rotten 18 and 19-year-olds high off their ass who stood for nothing. If to the extent they stood for anything, they stood for anti-freedom. These were not fucking like any sort of movement, any sort of affirmative action, for the best sense of the word, any sort of action whatsoever is considered good, like in like universities. Like if you're doing something, activism, that's a good thing, right? Hey, these are like the founding father. This is fucking George Washington right here. Look at him. They're doing something. They're doing something. That is, and I'm not a fucking what they call an educated man, but I will tell you that, to my knowledge, is like basically fascism, like the celebration of movement for the sake of movement, like just fucking riling people up to do something because it's better than doing nothing is like a fucking, it's like 20th century fucking bloodbath of thinking.
Oh,
yeah. And they are appeasing really fucking badly the staff. Like, it's ridiculous. That is he the dean or the president or something? He's such a pussy. Such a pussy.
I mean, how is he going to stand up to them? He believes everything they're saying. He agrees with them. What's he supposed to do? Of course.
I mean, how does he stand up? I'd say, get the fuck back to class, you little fucking faggots, right?
But they're not there to learn fucking how to weld. They're there to learn everything that they're saying. He's the one teaching it to them. Yeah.
Yeah. What? Yeah. But to what end though? What's the point? What's the point of teaching him this shit? I mean, in the staff's mind, what is the fucking point of teaching him this shit?
I mean, he agrees with it, that he was taught something similar. It's Marxism it's like it kind of taking a new form in every generation. It used to be like when Marxism first came to America, it was all about rich versus poor. Like they told poor people, hey guys, let's do this, overthrow the rich guys and we'll all be in paradise. And people in America were like, no, like this is the most opportunistic. This country has more opportunities than I've seen on the planet. Like we're fucking good on that. So Marxism took other forms over the generations, over time. Now it's all about women versus men. It's about blacks versus white. It's about cis versus trans. It's about I don't know, and it's basically religion, right? Fucking original sin. You're born guilty. Isn't that exactly what they're teaching now? If you're white
with privilege, privilege points and that.
Yeah, if you're cis, if you're anything like unless like even if you're a fucking okay, let's say you're a black, lesbian, transgender, vegetable, who's also gay, and I don't
Hang
know.
on a
Like,
sec. When you say transgender, who's also gay, does that mean?
I don't know. I don't know anymore.
Yeah, exactly right.
But then you don't know the struggle of being bi.
Yeah.
So you're guilty of thought crimes where you are exhuming somebody's sexual preference.
Yeah, you're appropriating their tacos.
Oh yeah, and if all that with all that you then eat a taco, you've just you've just fucked it all up.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you're super fucked. When did food become offensive?
When did what?
Well, you mean appropriation?
Appropriation of food.
Just recently, it's ridiculous.
It's the stupidest thing I've ever heard.
I mean,
like, how far can you take it? Do ingredients start to become like offensive, like culturally appropriate?
Yeah.
Like, if you eat a coconut, is that like offending people who live near the equator?
Yeah, I mean, it's been happening
It's
for a
deep,
while.
right?
It's been happening for a while, and it's gonna keep going. I mean, I'm glad that there's kind of a pushback to it, but unless the intellectuals in the university sphere, unless those guys push back against this, it's only gonna keep getting more extreme.
That's
Yeah,
crazy, isn't it?
Yeah.
Base Mama says, send your kids to trade school so they're useful.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point.
Well, I know here there's actually a lack of there's too many lawyers and you know, things like that. People, you know, stuff that people go to university to study for, and not enough tradies. So all the tradies they're cleaning up because they can overcharge because there's, you know, not as many people to, you know, make competition.
Yeah.
Wait,
I'm just gonna go. I'm just gonna go drain the lizard. We'll be back in 2 minutes.
You get to drain those are lovely.
Cool.
Yeah.
I'll take a turn after you. I guess I should hold it down here with sugar
Yes.
for a minute.
I'll be quick. I'll squeeze.
Do you guys just kind of do these as long as like till everyone's burned out, or do you have like a set amount of time these usually go for, or how does it usually go?
Usually we'll go for about just over an hour, so we'll probably wrap it up soon, to be honest.
Cool, whatever you want. I'm not too busy or whatever. But
so you went on Andy Warski's show recently.
Yeah, that was fun. Those guys are fun. Yeah, I like people that work hard. I like people that deliver a lot of content, and they do.
And they do too. Yeah.
And I like people that are not condescending. You know what I'm saying? Like they never talk down to the audience.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, that's something very. I find very prevalent within the SJW sort of crowd. It's all condescension, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
The way they speak at you, it's like reeks of it.
Yes, no argument there. I think it's also has to do with like intellectuals having a certain personality often. Like a lot of intellectuals, like, you know, okay, like you and me, we're like thinkers, but like I am not a fucking bookworm, and like I can't hold my ground in like a real debate with anybody who's like graduated from anywhere. You know what I'm saying? Okay,
fair enough.
Like I wouldn't want to go up against that TLDer guy, and I know nothing about him. I just know he posts 45-minute videos talking about, you know, the
oh yeah, he's heavy into his research, citations and stuff.
Yeah. But a lot of intellectuals, like, they just have a certain personality, I guess. I mean, just like think back to like your school days, you know, just like the really smart kids.
Yeah.
They didn't even know they were condescending a lot of the time, you know?
Yeah, that's true. And I guess that's kind of like their arsenal, though, isn't it? Like, you know, the jocks or whatnot, they were physically strong and they could bully you with their strength. And I guess in a way that's sort of what they hold superior over other people. So it evolves.
I'm back. What are we talking about?
We're talking about smart bullies. people who
Smart.
bully with their, well, not bully, but people who are condescending, smart people who use their intellect to, sort of.
Yeah, kind of people that are like they don't realize they're like condescending. They're super smart people sometimes, like very very intellectual types, and there's probably a certain element of resentment coming from them a lot of the times. And anyone who ever didn't think they were good enough to like approach the opposite sex or whatever, like anyone who ever felt like they weren't in the cool club. So it's not just intellectuals, like anyone can relate to that. But
I think everyone's felt like that at some point in their life.
So I would think like for some people it's like that's just kind of like the default. They just kind of feel like the world is stacked against them because they don't have people skills or whatever. So
speaking of being bullied on the internet, fucking Alex Mitterer says hashtag Rucka Rucka music god, hashtag bearing is the truth, hashtag sugar tits the better than bearing. Yeah, fuck you, Alex.
I really started a thing here, bearing hashtag.
Yeah, I know.
Taking you back.
But and then Character Holding says, I don't know how to super chat. How much for a bearing tits Rucka music collab? That's a fucking good idea, Character Holding. That's a good idea.
Yeah, what would that look like? Would it be like a musical collab? Would it be a fucking commentary? I
don't know.
Musical,
I suppose it would be musical, yeah.
Yeah, fuck, I don't give a shit. I mean,
make that happen. That'd be cool.
Do you do production at your end? Do you like mix? Well, shit, fucking, if I don't have to like literally pay money out of pocket, to pay a guy to mix it, like if I could just, I'll put some vocals on whatever you got. Yeah.
Bearing he mixed his own. You mixed like produce your own songs, so.
Oh yeah, that was a little bit. That was sort of
not the band stuff, but your own personal acoustic stuff.
Yeah. Fuck yeah. All right. Well, history in the making. Look at this. Yeah.
But what was I saying before? It's a little bit sad, isn't it? When people take their hang-ups from school and they continue it on into real life, or like the popular kids who are just used to having people suck up their ass all throughout school, and then they feel that it should continue in real life. Like people should behave that way in real life. Do you know
I don't know.
People like that?
No, well, I'm not. No? Well, I moved away. I don't know. Like Michigan, Detroit is again, it's in the Midwest. So a lot, it's kind of weird to look back at like some of the kind of different groups. Like kids didn't realize they were destined for different things. Kind of depend on the choices they would make. And in many cases, the influence of their family. So like some kids were going to be blue collar, like working whatever with their hands. Others were going to be working as doctors or lawyers or whatever. So,
doctors,
but I don't know.
Any school reunions?
No.
No.
You didn't go to the reunions?
I mean, well, the 10-year reunion was last year, and I wasn't in my hometown. So what am I gonna fly in there just to?
Fly and get a limousine to pick you up from the airport with a couple of sluts on your arms. Yeah, that's what you're
these guys are not worth impressing, trust me. But like, I wonder, like, would it be weird, like, explaining like to people what I do, like for the handful that I imagine have kind of kept up to date? They're like, they might consider me successful, but a whole lot of other awkward conversations where it's just like, oh, you're on YouTube, huh? Oh, good. Oh, did you ever go to college?
Yeah, how does that work?
It's a retarded conversation.
You could answer that really condescendingly, couldn't you?
I guess it just makes me fucking want to kill myself. It's just a retarded conversation I've had to have so many times. So many people. It's like, oh, do you make money doing that shit? I'm just like, Jesus Christ. Like, how do you? It's fucking music. Like, am I the first person to make money doing music? Jesus fucking Christ! Like, it's like I have to explain to everyone that money can be made from you. Yeah, but you're not on the radio.
Why don't you say I'm a professional recording artist?
I mean, yeah. I basically now I just tell people
I'm shine on it.
I typically just like people ask what I do. I'm just like, oh, I'm a musician. Like, oh, what do you play? Mostly vocals. Oh, you're singing. Yeah, it's like kind of like rap comedy. It ends up taking me right back to the main fucking point. It's like, oh yeah, it's big on YouTube. Oh, how do you make money?
Yeah, right back to what you tried to avoid.
Just quickly, Merc says, "Moon's out, goons out. Have a good evening, my dude. Rock on. Good on you, Merc."
Yeah.
And then Goatman says, "I'm gay for bearing." Good on you, Goatman.
Yeah, he is. Let me finish. Read the paid advertisement, the paid
and
product.
then there's other
we gotta show that stuff these days.
Says, have you guys seen how the SJWs have come after Lacey Green? Oh, that's interesting. Since she stepped out of line. If not, look at her Twitter. It's worthwhile. It's been gold.
It's coming, wasn't it?
It's been turbulent, hasn't it? Have you been following that?
Yeah, so let me go pee, and they like to tease the topics before they go to commercial breaks. So just read them off a fucking commercial read or something. I'll be right back.
No problem.
Yeah.
What do we got? What's the chat saying while we wait? What's on chat saying while we wait? Sugar Tits, show us your tits. That's original. It's all right. Chris Reagan
fucked the feminism out of Lacey. Did he though?
No. This is what we're waiting to see. See, because one of two things are going to happen right now. Okay, either Reagan is going to become a little bit cucked, and he's going to become like feminist bitch boy a little bit. Lacey refuses to give up on the feminism shit, or otherwise, Lacey's going to have to, backpedal on some of the stuff she was.
So Gemini says Rucka gives me the douche chills sometimes.
What's a douche chill?
The douche chills.
Okay, I think I get you. That was a good video, Gemini. I really enjoyed that. That was good fun. I like how you use the stock owl footage. Like
he uses that in most videos.
Yeah. I was making fun of Bearing. It was like, oh, he does that so much better than you. What do you have? Like, you got a bear running across the screen.
What are you talking about? That life. I'm not impressing anyone.
I'm just trying to make his dick hard, all right? I'm just trying to pump him up. I know.
Getting dark in here, if you know what I mean.
What time is it in LA?
7:39 p.m.
Do you have daylight savings in America?
Yeah, though I'm confused every year when we're moving it forward and when we're moving it back.
Oh, it fucks me badly.
Yeah.
Oh, I love it though. I love it. Like at the moment, the sun goes down here at like probably 4:45 p.m. And then in summer,
no, it's not that early.
It so is. Like, I'll show you. Like, look at the clock today, okay?
The sun
just
goes
before
down
5 o'clock.
5:36. What are you fucking talking about, you liar?
I'm not fucking lying, all right? Look, keep an eye on the clock today.
You mean like in the winter it does that shit? Or?
Yeah.
It's still in the winter.
Okay. And then, summertime, it'll be, closer to 10 o'clock or 9:30.
Okay. Oh, God, you're full of shit. Why are you stretching it? It's 5:30, 6 o'clock in the winter, and it's fucking 9 o'clock in the summer. All right, fine. Fucking Bearings King overlord of the time and sundown and sunset. Okay, so it's fuck me, right? Fuck me. Okay.
So, and right now it's autumn. It's autumn. Winter is coming.
It's the start of spring. Spring. It's the start of winter. It's just begun.
Yeah, like summer's starting here. You guys, you're like that's why when I asked you like about morning or whatever, it's like or PM, like daylight saving. I'm like, wait, is your morning what we call nighttime? Like, do you guys literally wake up at night and the sun is rising and you're like,
well, we've got to get up at 10 p.m.
I'm pretty good with it now. Like, so your 6 p.m. is 11 a.m. the next day, and 2 a.m. in London the same day as us.
Yeah, you know why? America and Australia have this love affair. Like we make you guys famous actors when you come out here. Like
we all have to leave. Yeah, that's right.
Well, I think part of why we're crazy about Australia is because you guys we can talk to you. Like you're awake when we're awake. Albeit the next day. The British are asleep right now. They've been asleep all day. Like they fucking sleep all day. Like they wake up and like we're all like the rest of us members of society have we're asleep. You know, it's
That's
like
true. That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do they still have G'day LA?
They do.
Do they do what?
There used to be an
LA.
event called G'day LA, and it was like a showcase of Aussie people in LA.
People in LA. Yeah. It's a bit gay LA. G'day gay LA. Like it's a bit.
He doesn't know what we're fucking talking about.
Good day,
Oh,
LA.
you're gonna look it up now. You're gonna look it up.
Should I? Is that like a show? Or?
Oh no, it's probably
it's
just
like,
it's probably just down at the local pub in the function room, like the 30.
No, it's probably not.
It's just
Like,
played up to be massive here.
they get like Crocodile Hunter and
He's dead. He's
Wolverine
dead.
and
Fucking
yeah, well they used to get him, okay, and like Hugh Jackman and every Aussie actor they can find, and they do like this big sort of benefit. I don't know. It's G'day.
Speaking
LA.
of a Crocodile Hunter, the Reaper 4131 says Australians will never be accepted into heaven. That's not true.
Well, that's harsh.
Well,
That's a good thing because there's no heaven, is there?
whoa, edgy.
Oh, it's edgy. When I'm dead, I'll be dead, man. Just get used to it.
Yeah.
Get used to it. Yeah, shit.
How was your piss, Rucka? Was it a satisfying piss?
Yeah, it was good. It's like the longer you wait, the more it's worth it. You know.
Yeah, that's good. I did a deck one. I like to just go out onto my back deck and piss off the deck. It's good.
Oh, I
Yeah,
fucking
Shivers
hate
hates it.
that. And
It's
you
so-
do
it's
it right
free.
near the
Actually.
fucking deck. Like you don't even go into the garden where the smell cannot bother
Oh, my
anyone.
piss, it was clear piss. It's not gonna smell.
Are you guys-
It's fucking smells, okay? It smells.
No.
Sorry, go Rucka.
Is it? Are you guys living in a city? Is it like a desert? Like what? What do you guys?
No, we live in the south.
Coastal.
That's very green, down here. And we live in a coastal suburb, I suppose you'd call it.
Oh,
So-
wow.
Yeah.
Which coast?
We have south.
Wow.
Like, we're
Fuck.
right
There's
at
just
the
nothing.
very bottom. Yeah.
Hold on.
Yeah.
How long would it take you to fly south until you reach land? You know what I mean?
To
Like
fly
Tasmania.
south.
and then you would like reach Russia or something, like because the world is round, or so they say.
No, Antarctica.
Yeah. You just suddenly gone to the other side of the flat disc. From
I don't
that.
think it works like that.
Why not? What do you mean? Oh, you
You
pass
go
like
over
Antarctica?
Antarctica, and then you just
Oh.
come out on the other side of the world, but you'd still be at the bottom.
Yeah. But yeah, no, yeah, I'll get. what
Not
you're saying.
Russia.
I mean,
Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah,
Like,
you-
isn't Russia?
Yeah, it would
like,
be. It would be. It'd be like around near Russia or fucking Canada or some shit, wouldn't it?
What the fuck are you talking about? No.
Fuck you.
No,
Yeah,
you
where would it
fly
be?
over Antarctica
Sorry,
and you would be like near South America or Africa.
I told you. I
What
told
the
you.
What are you guys talking about? You guys just
Yeah,
magically
sorry.
get from the bottom to the top by going over
I
Antarctica.
think we're both trying to fucking wrap a map of the world into a ball, and it's not fucking working.
What fucking world are you living in?
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
awesome.
Unless there's like a
That's awesome.
wormhole that takes you to fucking Alaska or something.
Like, yeah, you would be better going
No,
up past Asia to get to Russia because it would be take less time.
yeah, so you'd just be at Antarctica again. So
Yeah,
I don't know where
yes.
the fuck. If we flew straight down south and just kept going south until we were going north,
Yes,
because
you would
that
just
would
go
happen.
over the bottom. You would just be
Wouldn't it?
going under the
Yeah, but
bottom.
where
and
would
then you would,
you end up? Where the fuck would you end up? Would it be South America or something?
well, it depends which direction you go. Be south. It'd be either like Peru or fucking
heading
South
heading
Africa or the
south,
middle
kid.
of the
Heading
ocean.
south until we head north. That's which fucking direction we're heading.
What about how about this? Like, you know how like I'm gonna dig until I reach China, right? Because it's so if I'm
Yeah.
digging, I'm facing down, right? I'm like digging down, keep going, and then suddenly I'm standing up. Suddenly I'm standing up in China. At what point did I fucking flip over? And then
Yeah.
they give you some retarded answer like, "Oh well, once you reach the center of the earth, there is no down." It's like, shut the fuck up! I'm digging down, I'm looking down at the hole that I'm. And then I get to the end, I'm digging, and then I'm standing up. Like,
Yeah, I've gone through these conundrums in my head before as well. We think a
yeah.
lot, buddy.
Jason
Good one.
Cardo says if we from Melbourne continued going south, we would hit South America.
Yeah. See, I
what?
got it right.
No, hold on. I've seen a map. You guys are like here, and South America is there. And there's like
Yeah,
all
no,
this-
that-
You're
that makes
thinking of
sense.
a,
That makes
you're
sense.
thinking of a two-dimensional map, like not
Get
a
a
map
globe.
around the globe, though.
Oh
Yeah.
my god.
Do it on a
What
globe.
if
It
the
would be
flat Earth society turns out to be right this whole time? Would that be
Yeah.
such a bad thing?
Yeah. But isn't it funny that I don't think there are any flights, like even flights to South America and shit like that. I don't think there are any fucking flights that go over Antarctica, are there?
Because it's long. Antarctica is huge.
Well, yeah. So that just goes to show that there might be an ice wall with the flat Earth.
It might be an other like Game of Thrones ice wall
It's
that
like in,
keeps all the fucking zombies
do you
out.
remember, do you remember Motocross Madness, the game? How they just had like the wall at the edge of the
No.
like the universe.
How old
It'd
is
be like
that game?
Pretty old, pretty fucking old.
Okay.
Oh, I remember that. Actually, I do remember that. You love
I have
that
an
game.
I have an idea, and everyone's gonna call me an idiot, but fucking visionaries are often called idiots. Okay.
And hang.
What if, and yes, this will take a lot of fucking planning and a lot of fucking capital and all of that shit, but what if we built a big fucking wall, right? Along Antarctica, like fucking deep, like literally go down to the bottom of the ocean and put it firmly in and build it up very high above Antarctica. So it's like surrounding it. And if hypothetically Antarctica were to melt, it would not cause flooding on the rest of the planet. It would only.
Oh, so we dam the South Pole.
Yeah. Is
Like
that
a big ring dam? That's not a bad idea.
right? And then we fucking melt it. Fucking like fucking melt Antarctica.
Yeah,
Fucking
we do it on purpose.
do some, or fucking not even that. Fucking put land on, like put some artificial grass. Put some real fake plastic land on top of it. Oh, dude, a giant fucking waterbed type fucking theme park.
Like
I just turned it into a theme park.
Yep, like it.
What about all the poor penguins and fucking
Fuck them.
walruses and
This is
shit?
progress. This is progress, tits. Fuck off,
Yeah.
penguins.
Mhm.
Well, like
Well,
crew,
the fucking penguins would benefit.
but they
Yeah, they could be
put them-
attractions.
Yeah.
at this
What are they?
theme park.
Yeah, they would have fish to eat. Like, I'm not talking about like there'd be more fish when it's melted, right? The fish it's just ice now.
Well,
what
migration
equals
as well,
fish?
like
I
how-
think that logic is sound.
the migration, like how all the krill, like all the massive blue whales migrate to the Antarctica to feed on massive amounts of krill during the summer, and then they migrate out.
Tits.
You're just gonna ruin the whales and you're gonna fuck with everything. All right, I'm fine. I'm ruining.
They would find a way. Okay, there would be something.
Magic
I like-
underway.
I like it. Damn Antarctica. You, my friend, have just solved global warming.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, there's
Isn't
got to be
that cool
something
with
cool to do.
desalinization though.
Okay, I got it.
Of the oceans.
You wait for the whales to migrate down there for the summer or the winter or whatever the fuck it even is. It's in Australia's little corner, so I don't even know what those words even mean. But
We've got a whole hemisphere. We've got a hemisphere, mate. There's a whole another hemisphere.
you get the whales up on the ice. They can breathe for a little while outside the water, right?
Yeah.
Whales are chill. Okay, you
Well,
get them up
blowholes,
on the
they need to
ice.
breathe.
Yeah, okay. You get them up on the ice, then you plant the wall around them. So now they're citizens of Antarctica. They cannot get off of Antarctica. Now we melt it. Then we put a giant fucking clear plastic, whatever, clear glass cover on top of Antarctica and melt the now we got the whales fucking, it's like a sideways aquarium where we're looking down at all the fucking fish, sea life. Oh,
Yep.
dude.
Spencer, what about the fucking jet streams? Like, you're gonna fuck with the whole jet streams that like
Jet
control the
skis?
weather. The jet streams.
What
that
do
control-
you mean?
You
Oh,
know,
no.
the tides and everything that like the pushes the weather, like El Nino and La Nina are all affected by the jet streams. You're gonna fuck up the weather, like cause.
What do you mean? It's frozen now, so there won't be anything new there. And then we're building a wall
Yeah,
around it, so it
there's
doesn't
no
affect
currents going through the fucking solid ice, tits, you
Oh,
dickhead.
so you mean build a wall right at the edge of the ice shelf?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then melt it. Yeah.
And
He's not an idiot.
Yeah. What do you think I am, stupid?
all right, I'm
Do you
shutting the
remember-
fuck up.
do you
I'm
remember
just
there
gonna
was a
let you
fucking-
have this.
Yeah.
There was a
Listen.
concept. There was a concept ages ago that like, if they could get like a hose, like just even a really small hose, and put it from like like inside the atmosphere up until like up through space.
Yeah.
It could ventilate like the atmosphere. It could like let all the like,
You've
it's like
been watching that
opening the
fucking-
window when it's too hot inside.
You've been watching
Yeah.
that movie, haven't you? What's that 2012 movie or something where the remember the massive fucking what are they called? It's like a huge cyclone tornado thing, but it's reaching into the upper atmosphere, and it's bringing in super chilled air, and it's just fucking freezing everything.
Oh, I don't remember.
Remember that shit?
You're talking about. I don't know.
That was
Oh,
cool.
God. This is this is what we talk about here, okay? All you folks at home, you want to hear fucking smart, fucking 4.5 hour streams about fucking third wave feminism versus the raw theory of egalitarianism. Go to fucking skeptic.org/YouTube and fucking subscribe to that shit. You want to hear some fucking real practical plans, real fucking fucking relevant shit about what to do with Antarctica. Fucking Bearing at YouTube.
Got the master plan.
Exactly.
You guys got the master
Bearing.com.
plan. Johnny Bravo says Cthulhu.
Bearing
Oh, no,
pause
you missed one,
or
man.
cereal pizza with spoon. I don't know what that means. I don't no idea what
I
that
don't know what
means.
that means either.
And,
Johnny Bravo says Cthulhu is trapped within the ice of Antarctica. If it melts, we are boned.
what did you say? Say that again.
Cthulhu is trapped within the ice of Antarctica.
Oh,
if it
shit.
melts, we are boned.
Well,
What's that documentary you were watching yesterday, Bearing, about Megalodon living in the Mariana Trench?
Oh no, that
were
wasn't. It
sleeping,
wasn't
right?
Megalodon. It
was,
Oh,
it
it might have been
was.
Megalodon. Might
Yeah.
have been Megalodon.
Do you know
It
what
was,
Megalodon
it was just,
is?
it was just some huge creature. But no. Have you seen the recent concept of Thunderfoot debunked it?
Yeah.
These fucking engineers were talking about making a floating skyscraper.
That doesn't
Yeah.
sound practical.
Wait, he debunked it. He said it's impossible.
Oh, of course it's impossible. Like they were talking about going to like Jupiter and pinching an asteroid and bringing it into Earth orbit, right? And then they're gonna suspend a fucking a skyscraper from it. So to get out, so to go in, you got to like fly up somehow. To get out, you got to parachute down and shit. And like, just think about it. If this thing was in Earth orbit and you suspended a skyscraper, it'd be going about 15,000 k's an hour. Like,
What's that, like 2 miles an hour? Because I don't fucking speak Australian, okay?
no, it's probably fucking. It's probably like 8,000 or 9,000 miles an hour. Or something.
Is your speed? Are your kilometers? Is your distance inflated like the Zimbabwean dollar? It's like 80,000 Zimbabwean dollars for a
It's
can
not
of milk.
that bad, but it is. Yeah, it is.
We're all different, man. We're completely like.
So it's not
our
that
weight is
fast.
different.
We can handle it. Listen, every time people talk about going to space, I'm like, why? Like, I'm like the only person I know who doesn't want to. I'm not into NASA. I'm not into
fucking with that.
And I know there was a time when like JFK was up against, and whoever the fuck was in charge of Australia were up figuring out what to do about fucking Fidel Castro and his fucking missiles, and everyone wanted to figure out who can get to the moon first, because apparently whoever gets to the moon first has the advantage of being able to blow up the opponent or something. Now,
James Bond shit.
Today, who are we up against? Fucking crazy people in the desert living in caves. ISIS, like guys who can't fucking figure out like which side of a fucking dildo is the working end. And we don't need to fucking be exploring Mars right now. Like where does this money come from? Like, it's like, I'm all for it. Like, I want it to happen when it's time. Like, I feel like, you know how like the iPhone like propelled us like so far into the future? Like we went from having, we went from a point where like you're sitting at your computer and like, oh, the fucking thing's crashing again. Oh, the fucking blue screen of death, and fucking, I have to restart the computer again. You went from that to having internet in your fucking pocket at all times.
And
like,
we're playing Snake on our Nokias before.
Yeah. We went from that to like having fucking Facebook and YouTube in your fucking pocket. Like, we're fucking getting way ahead of ourselves with this space shit. Like, there need like unless someone comes up with a really cheap, easy way to fucking get out there, it's like I'm still freaked out by airplanes. Like the fact that we're taking this fucking device up in the air and transporting human beings across the fucking continent and the world is like, okay, let's just
their
fucking
hand up for that, yeah.
Let's just figure out how to do that with
people. Are you one of those people that does a quick once over of the plane for cracks as you're getting on as well?
I mean, I have faith. I'm a deeply spiritual man. I get on the airplane and I trust that somebody fucking made sure all the bolts are tightened. So I don't.
That's what they fucking say on Air Crash Investigation every time. Every time.
Yeah. I fucking like. I've been on enough airplanes and I've seen it. I've lived enough days with no plane crashes to at this point just take for granted that someone out there is taking care of it. But I'm just saying, let's really work on air travel. Like, let's really figure out a way to make it faster, lighter, easier, and how to book seats without dragging any Asian people off the fucking flight. All right, like let's get that down before, like, you see people talking about colonizing Mars in the next 10 years. I'm like, why? And who has time for that? Who has money for that? Jesus fucking Christ. What are you going to do out there? Are we out of problems to solve down here on Earth?
I don't know.
Jesus Christ.
What about Brianna Wu fucking warning us all about dropping moon rocks onto Earth?
What? Who? I'm not familiar with that.
You didn't hear that? Brianna Wu, who was very, very embroiled in Gamergate, so she was on the feminist side. She's running for Congress or something, like just recently.
She is too now.
And she fucking went on this rant about how we shouldn't have like tourism to the moon because if people get on the moon and they drop rocks from the moon onto the Earth, they might be as powerful as atomic bombs. If you drop a rock off the moon.
Now let me stick up for her for a second. Maybe when she said drop, maybe what she meant was if you aim it at the Earth and you send it in motion.
No, she meant whoops, I dropped a rock.
Yes.
It's now falling to Earth.
If we can take that and say, okay, but what if we are on the moon? You take a rock, you aim it at the Earth, and you just toss it, and it stays in motion, right? Isn't that what they taught you in physics? The Earth is supposedly round, and objects in motion remain in motion. So what's to stop this rock from continuing to move until it hits the Earth? And at this point, it's been going so long that it fucking hits the fucking ocean with the power of 1,000 tyrannosaurs, and like the whole fucking planet is fucked, man.
First of all, you gotta be
the moon's gravity, and then the Earth's atmosphere.
The Earth's atmosphere would like just disintegrate something you could hold.
The Earth's atmosphere fucking like house-sized fucking meteors.
Earth takes care of us. Like that. Fucking hell. Oh,
Bob Dobbs says, talk about the big three Rucka. You know this crowd would trip on it, damn it. Love you, Rucka. Love you, Tits. Fuck you, Bearing. I mean, love you. What's the big three, Rucka?
Okay, have you ever heard of a movie called Windy City Heat?
No.
Okay, you gotta watch it.
I'll look it up. What is it? Windy
City
Heat.
Yes. I mean, it sounds like you just said Wendy City Hate or something. I'm not racist, but it's what it sounded.
Windy City Heat. Is that better?
So this was Jimmy Kimmel produced this movie like shortly before he got his late night show, and it was like it's like he's got a big poster of it hanging up in his office. It was on Comedy Central, which is our, believe it or not, Comedy Central was not always a place for unfunny women to lecture everybody. Comedy Central, the channel of South Park, and Adam Carolla and Jimmy Kimmel had like 4 different shows on there at one point. The Crank Yankers, the Crank phone calls, the Puppets, and the Man Show, and all this shit was happening. And Windy City Heat, it aired like 3 times on Comedy Central, all after midnight with like minimal promotion. And but it was it became a cult classic. Like people who saw it like fell in love with it. It's like this amazing movie. And it's like it's a continuation of a project that Don Barris has been doing since the early 90s. Don Barris is like a comedy legend that like in the comedy world. Anyway, it's like it's such a long story. It really all just ties back to in 1992, 25 years ago, one guy jerked off another, and while he blew him in a casting office somewhere in the San Fernando Valley, somewhere in LA. And here we are today. Basically, this guy Perry, like he thinks he's really fucking talented. You gotta fucking see it. Watch Windy City Heat, and you'll understand what I'm saying.
We will.
Okay,
Wendy said he'd seat.
Yeah, just look that up. Yeah.
Jackson Firebird says, "What's your opinion on the Australian state and federal governments constantly trying to oppress homosexuals like myself and our love of guns and the right to defend ourselves?" Oh, look, I mean, I get your plight. I understand your plight, but I mean,
there's not really a gun culture here.
The Australian laws kind of do work for Australia. I mean, and we don't have that many shootings. I mean, I do commiserate with you.
Yeah, I just looked at the chat room. Big mistake. Never again. I'm closing the tab now. Well, no. Someone said, "How could Rucka be religious?" I'm not. I must have maybe I deviated from the atheist linguistic by saying I have faith that my airplane has been.
Yeah, that's what I think.
But
faith in the engineers, dudes.
Yeah. But if I was religious, I'd be a radical Muslim because they are the most religious people today.
Yeah, they are. They're shit. Yeah.
I'm very radical.
Money, gladly.
Good night, Johnny Bravo. You're a legend. Thank you. Thanks, man.
Yeah, used to watch you all the time, Johnny.
Oh, it's a good show.
Yeah.
So you're saying you'd be a radical Muslim? Expand.
Yeah, I'm a very radical person. Like I'm not a fan of doing anything half-assed. I mean, if you look at some of the lyrics I've written, I was like, okay, what the fox says, what the black says. Okay, am I gonna do this like a pussy? Am I gonna be fucking G-rated about this, or am I gonna fucking write it like fucking
jihad that shit?
Yeah, like everything needs to be consistent. But I mean, luckily for everyone, I'm not a radical Muslim, so I am not dedicating my energy to killing infidels. But I'm the opposite. I am dedicating my existence to making the world a wonderful place for me.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
And speaking of killing infidels, I mean, what's so I understand LA is a very, very liberal place. What was the backlash like after the election? Like, what was your first-hand experience after the election?
It was my first election living in LA.
Yep.
Back in Detroit, which again is the Midwest, there's a lot of kind of hillbilly type people, a lot of blue collar, proud members of the union, fucking, dirty fingernail type folks. Not a lot of YouTubers. It's not what they're known for. And over there, it's like it looked like 50-50, like 50% Republican, 50% Democrats. When Obama won, last time and the time before, like my friends all typically supported him because all my friends are, we were young musicians and fucking, whatever. But I didn't get to be there in like middle America, as they call it, right? Middle America, everything between the coasts, to see the Trump mania. I never got to see that other than on TV because nobody in LA is pro-Trump. I saw like one t-shirt and actually one guy had a Trump sign outside a florist, right? A guy who sells flowers. And he took it down. I don't know if like he literally got like lost business or maybe the fucking city itself came to fuck with him over it. But I didn't even see Hillary. So just to give you context, I didn't even see Hillary's support, as in everyone was such a Bernie bro that you didn't even see, there was like just a handful of like bumper stickers. Like there was no enthusiasm whatsoever over Hillary. Yeah. So, I mean, that's LA.
But surely there was when Bernie was bumped out though, wasn't it? I mean,
people very much didn't want Trump to win. However, there was no pro Hillary. There was just like, I mean, and you see it in that was just a microcosm of the world. You didn't see a lot of enthusiasm around Hillary anyway. Like everyone was just anti-Trump. So, but yeah, LA specifically being the heart of, like, Hollywood is where I live. There's so much anti-Trump rhetoric, feel out here that like there was just like no Trump, no Trump, no Trump. And the night that Trump got elected, like people thought like the world is ending. I mean, you saw it on YouTube, but like the shit was happening. Like people who I thought were like coherent members of society, they thought it's all over. Like they thought they thought they're getting rounded up. And that it's like it's just like, I just want to be like, guys, like, I'm not exactly a Trump guy. Like I don't want him in power. I want him to be on TV pissing off everyone. I don't really like his policy, but like, what did he actually say? Anti-gay or anti-black or anti, like people are acting like he's
racist, everything.
Like, he's literally done nothing, but fucking like it's like he's done, I don't know, like. I guess in the wake of a terrorist attack, he said we should close the border or close off the border with certain for Muslims until we figure out what's going on, which is in today's environment, it's not something you say commonly, but it's quite a leap from saying like Hitler had the right idea.
Yeah, and that's what he was sort of. Like he was kind of treated with that level of vitriol as if he did say something like that.
It's interesting lately, with the London attacks, the London terrorist attacks.
Oh, the Sadiq Khan fucking.
Because he said like not to panic, or it's we don't need to panic or something like that, and then Trump just poked fun at it. Well, he said that's a pretty stupid thing to say on a tweet, and then Sadiq Khan got really triggered and it started going on about how he wants to ban Trump from coming to visit. Coming to visit. Like, you can ban. That's the stupidest thing I've ever heard.
I mean, it is stupid. I think the actual quote saying "Don't be alarmed" was basically saying like, if you see more police cars, don't think that there was another attack. We're just don't be alarmed. And Trump,
that's right.
Trump is great at kind of being the everyman, kind of like just saying what people on the street are feeling. That's always been his thing. He's a fast-moving, fast-paced, hot-blooded guy from New York. He's a New Yorker. He's just he's that guy, and people like that. They have confidence in a mogul, in this guy. It's like, oh, the more he says, believe me, I know what I'm talking about. I just want to believe him. I'm like, all right, fine, he gets it. Let him fucking do it. I'll fucking go to work. I'll fucking mind my own business. I believe him, So he inspires confidence in me, and I don't even believe him.
Yeah. Well, it was different. It certainly was different, wasn't it, when he was running his campaign and the things that were coming out of his mouth? Everyone's like, did he really just say that? But then, you just got this feeling of utter bullshit from Hillary and then on the other side you see Trump saying such extreme things. It's like, well, at least he's saying, maybe he's more truthful than Hillary because he's saying this crazy shit.
I mean, Trump is a fascinating person. Not only him, he himself is not fascinating, but the level, the culture that produced him and put him where he is the whole situation is fascinating. I don't know, like there's so much going on with him. Like I don't know how to like just put my finger on it, but he just kind of says whatever passes through his head. Like, it's weird.
He had it all against him, didn't he? Like all the media was on, and then all he had was his Twitter, pretty much his Twitter account, to big himself up.
He's he's the anti-Obama.
It's impressive.
He's like the anti-Obama in one way that when Obama won the first time, like there were pictures of Obama everywhere. Like, I was freaked out because it looked like a fucking dictator had just been elected. Like, just pictures everywhere. There was videos of like kindergarten kids singing their allegiance, like fucking Hollywood celebrity,
boycott.
No, well, when Obama won.
With Obama.
Obama.
Oh, sorry, when Obama's.
There's like a video. I'm sure it's out there. You can look it up. Like DiCaprio and all these fucking assholes were all like, I pledge my allegiance to Barack Obama. Barack Obama. They were they had such a hard on for this unusual fucking third world sounding name. I'm so happy to have Barack Obama. I pledge my allegiance to Barack Obama. It's like he hadn't even taken office yet. So like, so everyone was just like going apeshit over Obama when he won. Like, and the same thing happened with Trump. Like people, like there's this cult of personality around him. Like, and a lot of people weren't really sure what he was actually gonna do and didn't care. They're just happy having him in charge. I know I'm gonna get like get eaten alive. You know, here's the crazy thing too. Like, Trump is such a divisive figure. Like people say like, oh, if you insult Trump, you know, you'll get killed on the internet. Yeah, but also if you say something positive about Trump, you'll get eaten by anti-Trumps. Like no matter what you say about Trump, somebody out there wants you to say something else.
Absolutely. It's completely foreign. Is the concept of idealizing politicians over here? It's just it doesn't happen. It doesn't happen. On either side, we're gonna criticize the shit out of them.
I think like JFK might have been our first like celebrity president. I could be wrong about that, but like he was the first president to not wear a hat. Like all presidents used to wear like a top hat. It was like, that's how a man used to wear a hat. You know, a man had his wife and his hat, and he was a proud, upstanding man with a hat. And JFK had beautiful wavy hair, and he just didn't wear a hat. Yeah.
He had the hot Jackie and Marilyn on the side.
Yeah,
He did too.
Yeah, it's weird. I know, like Reagan had like he was a real like people loved the person more than I don't know. It's weird.
Was Reagan Republican?
Yeah, so he was kind of seen as like a big return to like conservatism in like he brought my understanding is he deregulated the economy a lot and lowered taxes to a degree, but not as much as people like to remember. Like it wasn't so, he didn't do that much, but also one thing he did was he made the Republican Party the party of Jesus. Like before that, like there were Republican politicians that were not even necessarily religious. Like today, up until Trump, a Republican had to say he goes to church and his favorite book is the Bible, or he has no chance of winning. Now, but one of the good things about Trump is he got God the hell out of the Republican Party, and it'd be interesting to see who runs next time and how they run and what happens.
Because Trump didn't sort of push his. I mean, I noticed he mentioned God a lot in his inauguration speech, but he never really pushed religion or anything.
No, everybody knows he doesn't give a shit. It's just not like it's not in his vocabulary. Like it's just not important to him, I think. Yeah. He mentioned it a few times in his inauguration speech, which it just sounded funny because I think it's the first inauguration speech I've really watched taken in properly. It was weird. It was a trip seeing him get up there, and first thing he does is just throw shade at every president, everyone before him, just saying like,
he did, didn't he?
I mean, I like the idea of what he's saying. I like the spirit I've always liked the spirit of what he represents. The look that he's gonna put on everyone's face when it's like, oh, how did that guy win? The guy who doesn't play by the rules, the guy who doesn't owe anyone anything, who. And like people say, like they want to get money out of politics, right? They're tired of the rich buying. Well, in this case, you got a literal rich guy, but like he paid for his own campaign, to my knowledge. I don't think he got much money from any donor. So the whole lobby system didn't really apply in this case.
Well, in a funny way, that kind of is, in a way, getting some of the money out of politics, isn't it? Please.
No, I'm saying that's so like he doesn't owe anyone anything. Typically a president has a list of people that helped him get in office. So he's like, so it's like, oh, well, the president's just a puppet. Well, here you got somebody who nobody expected to be there. He doesn't really owe anyone anything. So like there's that. So like I've always liked kind of what he represents in many ways. I never thought he represented you know, like Hitler's second coming. It's not really my opinion, but I mean, if someone else thinks that is who he is, I'm obviously open to, you know, hearing that out.
You got to stay safe because you're in LA, don't you? You got to be open to that.
No, I mean, I don't literally, I used to feel kind of self-conscious, but then the day I realized nobody cares, like people like to talk, but nobody is actually going to sit and watch this live stream that gives a shit about any of that. Like nobody is, the witch hunt is not after me. I would have to be relevant in people's mind for that to happen.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah, we're not relevant. We're just over here in Australia.
I mean,
that's how we get away with shit.
we're sitting here coming up with plans for Antarctica. That's
yeah. We've got to get back to the drawing board about that because I've still got issues with this plan.
We'll show you, Tits. We'll fucking show you.
Okay, all right.
Well, we better think about wrapping up, Rucka. I've ordered some lunch, Tits, by the way, so lunch is coming.
Oh, what are you guys eating? Hold on. What do you guys eat in Australia?
I ordered a couple of steak sandwiches. So it's a sandwich with steak on it, with thin steak on it and salad.
You're excelling what a steak sandwich is.
Steak sandwiches.
Do you have steak sandwiches in America?
Come on, you must.
I mean, yeah, we have them. I don't usually order one for lunch. What the fuck, man?
Fuck you. I'm a YouTuber. I don't have rules, man. Fuck.
Yeah, all right. Do you, man? I'm not here to judge you. Now I'm that guy who fucking sticks his face in other people's business. Fuck me. Yeah.
No, beautifully. You get the lot. You get onions, egg. What else do you put on that?
Yeah.
Lettuce, cheese. Just pack it out. It's like
essentially
it's like a burger except with thinner bread.
I'm just
and a steak.
I like that shit puts me to sleep. I'm not like a big dude. Like when I eat a fucking heavy lunch, I'm just ready to sleep the rest of the day. Is that how you guys roll?
I probably will. You
guys work like crazy hours. Is YouTube your job, if I can ask?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I do. I work crazy hours. Absolutely.
Absolutely, he does.
Would you say Patreon is your main source of income? Or is it?
Not really. It's probably about line ball, AdSense and Patreon.
Are you feeling the adpocalypse?
Yeah, a little bit. It's not like, you know, a 90% reduction like a lot of people are whinging about. But it did take a fair whack off. Probably halved my AdSense income.
You've always been pretty good with videos. Like you've always tried to do at least one a day.
Yeah. How about you, Rucka?
For me, it's always been music. Even when I monetize a YouTube video, it's usually that there's music on there. My music is claimed by me for me. It's like music. Yeah. So I'm not really a YouTuber so much.
But how do you watch it? So you make money off the sales on iTunes?
Yeah, it used to be all iTunes. Like 2010, 2011, it was all iTunes. Then Spotify became like really big. Spotify came to the US, and now so I would say probably Spotify is my biggest source of income, followed by iTunes.
There you go.
And then there's it's a lot of little things. And anywhere music is consumed, any legal way that music is consumed. It's not even illegal. Like if someone torrents an album and then puts it in their iTunes iCloud or whatever, that is somewhat like there's I don't know. Anyway, interesting.
What you get paid? How do you get paid for that?
Because when you pay for an iCloud storage, that I think that subscription fee is divided not only with Apple, but also with the artist whose music was stored in that iCloud, I believe. So so like it's weird. Yeah, I don't really pay attention. I don't really care that much. I just kind of I can't control it. I just do my own thing, and but it's really cool to see that you guys are like making a living doing this shit. You know, I watch your shit. By the way, let me tell you this to everyone watching, all like future generations that dig this up. The best way to support YouTubers is to pay for YouTube Red. I know that's like unheard of, but literally it's like YouTube. I mean, that's the way to thank your favorite creators, because everyone lives much more handsomely. Everyone makes much more money when YouTube Red is purchased. So just keep that in mind, everybody.
There you go.
Yeah, absolutely. I've got YouTube Red, and you don't get any ads or anything. It's fucking great.
Right. I saw H3 post like a tweet out like, hey, thanks for the free YouTube Red membership, like talking about how there's no ads anymore anyway. So it's like,
Yeah. That's a good point. Yeah. All right, man. Well, it's been great meeting you and shooting the shit with you. We'll have to do it again, definitely. And let's
before we go, character holding.
let's keep this fucking this collab in mind.
Absolutely. And also something I always tell everyone whenever I'm on a live stream is you should take like your favorite moments and like make it its own video. Like even if you put it on a backup channel or something, like I always feel like a lot of great moments in these are they fall through the cracks and like they're wasted. And like,
I have done that before. I might do that.
Well, I think the Antarctica fucking
that was a good tangent. That was a good
make
tangent.
it great. I mean, yeah. So anyway. This would let's do it again, and let's talk about a collab, and we'll be in touch. Thanks for the invite, guys.
No, thanks so much.
Good to speak to you.
All right.
See you guys.
Peace.